He
Deadly
unmutes.
booms.
And he mutes himself.
The unmuting
Well,
and the
I'm not making you
remuting.
guys listen to me eat.
Thank
That's
God.
just gross. Like MODOK gross.
MODOK level gross.
Is there a lower level?
So
I
I
feel
want to
like-
I want to
Is there a
say
deeper dive
in
than MODOK gross?
MODOK news, because apparently that's the topic. There's a new MODOK figure coming out. That one's on pre-order. Very excited about it. Also, there's a new MODOK cartoon coming out starring Patton Oswalt as MODOK.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'll watch.
I knew
I'll
about
watch
the cartoon.
It looks-
So I'm very
looks
excited
amazing.
for both of those because MODOK is stupid.
That's
Like,
that's from the
he's
creators.
just a large baby in a floating chair.
That's it.
I mean,
is
shouldn't
that
we
from the
all
creators of,
aspire to be that?
I
Have
mean,
you seen
yes,
him?
maybe.
Have
But
you
is that-
seen him fight in Marvel vs. Capcom? Oof.
No,
It's awkward.
probably because he's a large baby in a floating chair.
Yes.
Yes, that is it
This reason exactly.
You are
Facts.
correct.
Is that new MODOK show from the creators of Robot Chicken? Because that's what it looked like.
Maybe it looked a little bit better than that. I think. Robot Chicken was very much like we gotta hit this deadline.
That's too bad. I really like that.
I mean, I enjoy Robot Chicken. I just think that it looks better than that, and I don't even think that it's actually like like action figures or clay or whatever. It actually looks animated.
Jordan Blum.
Well, that'll change.
Move us down to New Seer, which hey, the cities stayed in place this time. That's nice. They're learning.
Was it normally not?
They never do. They never stay in place.
Learning.
Like if you note,
Oh shit! You're right.
Exile has a period after it. It's because I had to make it longer so that I could actually put it in place. Because every time I opened Foundry, it would be like.
He just tries to run.
He just
Like-
drifts away.
The city of Exile is actively trying to leave.
The City of Exile is trying to exile itself.
I
Yes.
feel like that's good though. That's
Yeah, it's
a good story
because
arc.
there's a grid and I don't have them set to any of the vertices of the grid. So yeah, it's weird, but hey.
But hey, that's all right.
All right. So before we get started, any major questions for anything that we need to talk about?
Not for me anyway.
Cool. I want you guys all to know that last night in my Witcher game, I killed a character. So
Nice.
you're probably safe because I've never done it 2 games in the same week. But it's always a chance for
First
first.
time for everything.
Yeah, always a chance for
Records
first.
were made to be broken. Let's do it.
John's bloodlust is temporarily sated, but only temporarily.
My bloodlust is not sated, but I spent most of my luck last night.
You know, the
I'm gonna
keyword
hold
in
you
that
at
sentence
sated.
was definitely probably. So yeah, no, don't believe you.
Yeah, I attacked them with a bunch of dogs and then a pair of big magic dogs, and the dice were definitely with the dogs.
Oh, you mean so you rolled like you do with us?
Yeah.
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 Okay, that makes sense. Because
But in a less
Witcher,
forgiving system.
yeah, that's basically it. The Witcher system is just less forgiving.
Yeah.
So when you roll 18s and 15 to 18 on everything, I'm assuming that they just die at that point.
What it would actually be is that I would critically succeed at every single parry or dodge that the dogs roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then usually
dogs.
succeed at the bite check. Not always, but usually. So
Those dogs sound very impressive, French, and dismissive of the players even being there to attack them.
why are you even here, Ruff?
What were you, born a cat?
These aren't dogs at all. These are Bretonian truffle hounds. Oh, Jesus, no.
Did you expect this to go a different way?
God damn it.
Le Wolf.
No, it was the Ronf that got me.
Le Wolf. Le Bark.
Le bark. Ligger. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was Chaps
Sniff.
Fantastic's character. So, sorry, Chaps.
Would their sniff be?
They like sniff the air and then they go, "Ugh." And that's it. Just, "Ugh."
I only gorge myself on the finest of fecal matter.
I am disgusted.
What is that smell? It smells like peace. I am interested.
It intrigues me.
It intrigues me.
Oh, it's that adventurer. Kill him.
Okay,
Shout out to
this
everyone
horse
who's French
seems
watching the
dead.
stream.
So,
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, so not last week's game, but last game, so 2 weeks ago, we wrapped up the fight in the basement of the Manticore's tail, where the team managed to kill Kringauer, have Bowing die, and then run for their lives against what they imagined was going to be swift retribution. They took their wounded and fallen to a House Jarasco clinic, and the Jarasco halflings healed them up, stabilized who they could, said, "Hey, we can't stabilize this one. She's very dead." And then they decided that they were going to basically wrap up in the inn that they were in, because they don't want anybody finding them in this town, because they're just making enemies. And they went to a different inn, which was like upper middle class, from, upper lower class where they were staying. They decided that they were going to just chill out and not go on any further adventures for the day, but mostly just research ways to get into the realm of the Goblin Warlord that used to control the area around Star Lasker. They went researching. It was Lumio and Zeract went to the Arenal Elf library that of the elf that Zeract had met, and Delian and Sharut went to the normal library and basically like out on the streets trying to like sort of case the joint kind of thing, seeing what they could find. What they found was a couple of different things. Number one, actually, no, wait, we said that you guys were all going to give each other sort of a download of what you found out, so we can actually start there. So I hope you guys are jam forks, because jelly spoons don't taste that, or don't shake like that. Damn it, I fucked it.
Oh, no.
And
God damn it.
We have to abort the joke.
abort the joke. Abort the joke. Shut up, Travis. All right, we're good. Someone else
There
is
you go.
blamed,
There you go.
and
Good
we
recovery. Good
will
recovery.
we'll move on. And we will jump over to the Star Lasker map. We have Lumio, Forsidna, Zeract, and Corley coming back from the library. We have Sharut and Delian coming back from the other library, and they're going to meet up with Dandarin, probably at the tavern that they're staying at. So if you guys want to get together and give each other a download so that you can share your infos.
Yeah. Okay. So Sharut knows that these three buildings that I'm highlighting here are part of what was known as, I believe, the lower city, or the upper city. I can't
The upper
quite remember
city.
the details. But it's essentially where all of the slaves live. And those three buildings in particular still have they're very largely made of Dakani structure, or Dakani structures are largely incorporated into their current build. So there may be a way down to where we need to go into one of those three, or through one of those three buildings. And if Sharut were to take a guess, it would be this one. He also knows that a company is being hired to go down underground to find, I believe it was, I want to say Kyber, but I know that's not right.
So like typically when you go underground, the reason that you would go underground is because you're going into the Kyber, which is sort of the Eberron word for the Underdark. Because that's the place where you can find Kyber dragon shards, which are used to make magic items.
Okay. So he knows that a company is being hired to go into the Kyber to potentially get dragon shards. And there have been rumors, or not rumors, but a lot of equipment stores have essentially sold a ton of cold weather equipment. Putting two and two together, they may be down there to get dragon shards. Like, they may be down there to get dragon shards, but the cold is an indicator that it's really close to the ruins that we want to get into. So we have two options from Sharut's point of view. We can either, three technically. We can either go through the mausoleum, which is probably going to be tougher. We could go through here, or we could try and join this company and essentially split off from them like halfway through and try and like infiltrate our way through Kyber.
Well, the mention of cold actually pretty strongly ties in with what Zeract and Lumia found, which is that it is very likely that to some extent this hobgoblin warlord has been tapping into a manifest zone to Rissia, the plane of ice. We do know where a fragment of that power is located in the Frozen Throne. And using wacky moon mechanics, Zeract may be able to douse for center of that manifest zone where the power is being drawn from.
Cool. So, with that in mind, what would you guys like to do now?
So
Go ahead.
I'm torn between two options. Like I don't want to go the mausoleum route because I feel like that's going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm for either going down with that group and then maybe using your dowsing ability to get closer to where we need to be. Hell, they might be headed towards that manifest zone. They just don't know it. Or we try and check this place out. Why am I not? It's X, right? Or we check this place out and see if we can get down through there.
So, given that the Frozen Throne has a substantial, intact, and still functioning piece of this dude's magic up and running, Zeract would like to, before we head down, actually try and visit there to use that as a foot for this whole dowsing shenanigan that will in no way go wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna roleplay this out. Sharut not opposed. Issue have been there before. Last seen by enemy.
You're not wrong, but we've also been in other inns around the town. I don't imagine that they would necessarily have identified us yet, though it does heighten the risk of, if we go as a group, that would make less sense. Taking perhaps the remaining bodyguards and one other may make some sense while you look for some of the other options.
This good plan. Agree.
Meanwhile, John's like, they're fucking splitting the party again.
Do what you want. I'm not your dad.
Yeah.
I know at some point I'm going to try to get Dillian to get his little bit of info and then run back. So if there's a time to do that,
Okay,
especially if Zarac's going to do a thing, I'll do
okay.
it around
So
there.
I'm gonna portion people out. So we have Zeract and we have the two bodyguards going with Zeract. It sounds like Sharut is going with them.
No, he's probably gonna scout out the
Makes
he'd
sense
probably
for-
be better scouting this part out. So
Okay.
him and
Makes sense for Lumio to
Dillian.
come with.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
Yeah, Lumio is very, very magical. That makes sense.
And then
I do that
I-
a lot.
I
Mhm,
think we would probably like Dillian and I would also take Dander because he has a keen eye for. I'm assuming he has a keen eye for secret doors.
I'm actually probably going to go do my own thing real fast, and then
Oh.
I'll meet up with you.
Okay.
Zeract will oppose that idea.
You don't know I'm doing it.
We
Well-
don't have a lot of time.
If we're openly making plans and you're like, I'm going to do my own thing, then that's
No,
the point where
like-
she will. But
That's no, I'm okay. I'll role play this out. Yep, sure. I'll go with you.
there we go.
And the Grammy goes too.
You mean the Oscar?
No, I mean
No,
the
he
Grammy.
stole a Grammy.
Yeah, he stole a Grammy.
My God. Well, regardless of whatever we choose, I choose. My dinner's ready. I hear the alarm. One moment.
Dwarves and their
Garbage.
sausages.
Definitely Dorvish for. He comes with stealthy group. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the trio of Sharut, Dandarin, and Dillian will start heading out. But Dillian will basically just slip away for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that sounds just fine. I imagine that you're probably grabbing Yelfis and taking him with you.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
Just so I'm not on my own.
Sounds good. Yeah. Cool. So, we can get to yours first, and then we'll do everybody else since you're ready to go.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. So, you were basically told to go to a certain address in the Vathi district,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of the kind of shanty towns outside of the city.
Oh, okay, yeah. To the yeah, I see it.
Way down here.
Yeah.
So you and Yelfis head that way. It's a sizable trek. Like it's gonna take you at least half an hour to walk across the city and get there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not like an all day thing.
Oh, that's good.
Do you have
Looks like
a
it could be.
knowledge local as a skill?
I don't believe I do. I do not.
Okay. So since the roads here are more you know, they're not like planned or even really named. So you were given a place to go, but that place doesn't really exist. You know, it's like if you tell somebody go to 18th West Crown Street. West Crown Street might not actually have the name West Crown Street. It might just be the street that like the West Crown Tavern is on or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, things out here, a building just goes wherever anybody puts it. So
Okay. So it might take some time to be finding.
yeah. So without a bit more knowledge of how to find it, you're kind of just wandering around, occasionally asking, that sort of thing.
Yeah, is Yelphus good at this sort of thing?
When you ask him, he'll shake his head and say, no, I tend to do what I can to stay away from people. They don't sound
that makes sense.
right.
Yeah, you got that right.
A lot of the times you can just sort of smell the wrongness of them.
Oh, well, I guess we'll wander around a bit more then. We'll find it eventually, I imagine.
And as the two of you are walking, he goes, speaking of, I assume you were sent by someone I know, but you do have there's a song around you. It's singing and it's cold.
Oh, that's a very nice way to put what I have. Yeah, I got one.
Well,
Just don't go shouting it out to everybody.
I would never be so brazen as to make someone look that way.
Okay, well, that...
Your friends, they seem on edge.
Yeah, they've kind of been this way the entire time I've been with them. They just very on edge. Like at any moment they're gonna, I don't know, do something brash. They're often really quick to violence too, and it's just not my style really.
Oh, well, maybe you should calm them down.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. Yes, some are more bullheaded than the others, but I'm sure they'll all come round.
Some seem more dangerous than the other.
Yeah, that too. I thought that went without saying, but yeah, you're right. Some of them are quite dangerous.
The flower girl, I wouldn't trust her.
I don't. She's kind of put a target on my back for something with absolutely no proof other than gut instinct.
Yeah. And he'll continue walking through the streets with you, and just every now and then he'll pause and you'll see him just kind of like look at the ground, and he'll close his eyes, and he just looks to be listening and kind of sniffing a little bit. And then he goes, I think they're this way. And he'll just turn a corner and start walking. But you've seen him do this a number of times so far.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to tell him, nah, I'll follow him.
I think you're fucking wrong. How about that?
Yeah, like, the alternative is, nah, I think you're wrong. And then it just, nah, he'll go with.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, he eventually leads you to sort of a small, it looks to be sort of a 2-story house, but the doors are on the second story. And it's one of those where, like, they've dug out about a half story, and then there's foundations going up, and then there's a story above that. So you have the ground made of, it looks like just jagged pieces of stone and far too much mortar, and then the upper half made of some like rickety planks of wood. And he stops and he smells the air, and he goes, yeah, that sounds right. I think they're going to be in there.
Okay. I will trust your bloodhound instincts for whatever you've got.
Bloodhound, if only. And
Yeah,
he looks at you deadpan with basically just a very slight smile, and he goes, you're funny.
Well, thank you. It's glad to hear you say that.
And he will walk up the steps and knock on the door.
I'll be right behind.
Okay.
Because apparently I'm not taking the lead right now.
So somebody, like you see it, there's it's not like there's one of those like slats in the door that move aside. There's just kind of a hole there. And it looks like on the back, there's probably something covering it, but it looks really loose. It looks like somebody like just moved a sort of a loose piece of wood from the other side.
Or like some fabric or something.
Yeah. And
Okay.
You hear a feminine voice say, who are you and who sent you?
Oh, well, I'm Delian, and this here is Yelphus. We were sent by, a guy in Starlasker. Oh, so exciting the day that's been happening. His name's Malkin. You know that name? I got others if you need others.
And she says, "Yeah, that'll work." And the door opens, and you see an elven woman, in studded leather armor, and she's got kind of a green cloak that's covering one arm. The arm that it's covering, as she moves, you'll see that occasionally the cloak moves too, and that arm is not covered, because you see what looks to just be like a hideous burn scar that wraps itself in a weird sort of like floral pattern going down from her bicep to about the middle of her forearm.
Well, that's not a brand.
And she says, "All right, come in."
Oh, thank you. After you, Yelphus.
And he'll enter, and you see him walk across the room to where something is sort of softly smoking, and he licks his fingers and he just puts that out and just waves the air, and he says, "This incense, it's too loud."
Oh. Sorry, he's really sensitive to... He's just sensitive. I hope you guys understand.
We all have our gifts and our burdens. You're the one Malkin sent, and you must be the one that he was sent to find.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you. Mission successful, at least.
Consistency.
We can always use more of that. We haven't met, and she holds her left hand out to you, not the one with the burn scar.
Then I will hold out my right, so that way we do a proper handshake.
And she says, "My name's Pela." And
Pela. My name's Delian.
Nice to meet you, Delian. Nice to know that some of the new blood can actually be counted on and not just endlessly rescued.
Was that a jab at Yelphus or a compliment or both?
And she shakes her head and she says, "No, I've heard of Yelphus, and Yelphus isn't new blood, but you'd be surprised at what some of the upstarts get up to."
Well, I'm glad to break that mold then.
Well, Fulcrum should be here in a minute for the two of you to give them the download.
Oh, okay. Is there a chair or should I stand?
And she says, "Please make yourself at home. There's a few drinks in the chest if you'd like one. And
Do you have any coffee?
We should have a couple of grounds around here."
I'll have some of that.
"Okay, I'll get it started." And she'll go and get some coffee started. And after a couple of minutes, you'll hear pretty loud footsteps coming up the walkway. It's not like they're rushing; they're just not quiet. And whoever is making them is very, very heavy. And nobody knocks; the door just opens. She doesn't seem alarmed at all. And when the door opens, what you see is a Warforged. With the where Warforged are normally very very sort of like gunmetal on light brown. This one's wood is more of a darker, like it's very ebony, and then the metal plates look like they have been just blued. They have been blued over and over and over to give the metal kind of a slight blue sheen.
Okay.
They are wearing the standard amount of clothing that most Warforged wear if they are not an arcane caster, which amounts to very, very little clothing. So they're wearing boots, and they're wearing gloves, and they have a belt, and they have a cloak, and that's about it. And then
that makes sense.
You see on the it sort of starts in the wood and then it goes into the metal of the right thigh. There's this discoloration where it looks like the wood is kind of almost moldy, and then the metal is kind of rusted and pitted. But it's done in that sort of same like swirling jaggedness that says that this is not natural rust and not natural mold. This is something else.
Interesting.
And the Warforged looks at you, looks at Yelphus. At Yelphus, he nods, sorry, at Yelphus they nod, and then they go and they speak to the elf, and what you hear them say is, "And who is this one?" And she says, "Delian, one of Malkin's new blood." And he says, "Mocked?" And she says, I
Yes.
assume." And when you talk, he looks at you. And it's this like turning his head real sharp. Or sorry, when you talk, they sort of swing their head to look at you real sharp, like you shouldn't be talking. They are speaking to someone else.
I throw up my hands and pipe down.
And Pela says, "I didn't ask. He arrived with Yelphus, and apparently that was more than what he was asked of. I figured you would want to do that." And Fulcrum nods, and then they look at the two of you, and they wave a hand, and they say, "Come on then, downstairs."
I get up and follow.
And as the two of you walk by Pela, she offers both of you a cup of hot coffee, and you are able to go downstairs with Fulcrum. Where the upstairs looks very rickety, like you can pretty clearly hear the outside and the street and all that stuff. As you get downstairs and you sort of walk down these steps into the stone first floor, it looks like whatever wealth this place has is kept down here.
Oh, okay.
You're seeing nice furniture. You're seeing fine rugs. Not ostentatious. It's nothing that you would find in a palace, but it's definitely better than what's upstairs.
Yeah. Like upstairs was sort of a front of sorts.
Yeah. And you walk down, and Fulcrum will go and sit on a stool, and they will wave you and Yelphus to a pair of chairs opposite theirs. And Fulcrum says, "All right, begin. Tell me what you found out."
Well, Yelphus, what'd you find out?
And Yelphus says, "I want to start this off by saying that I'm not the only one who was seeking this information, and you're not the only one I've told. But I was charged to investigate Dosk in the city to see if they were the ones that were making the dragon's blood or only the ones supplying it. From what I've found, they're merely suppliers. I do, however, have a list of the ingredients mixture, though not the recipe itself. Think we may have someone who could actually put this together. She's a friend of mine who knows Wayrun and knows Malkin. May have even worked with Delian. Delian, you have no idea who he's talking.
Yeah, probably not.
And he says, but more importantly, while I found the ingredients and I found where they're shipping it to, I was able to find where they're shipping it from. It seems their actual lab, at least the lab that's in Braylon, is in Rowett. It's not in Star Alaska. Like, they create it in the capital, they ship it here, and from here it goes everywhere else. From what I was able to find, our initial suspicions were correct. They are not actually using dragon's blood in the dragon's blood drug. They seem to be using something else that has some sort of draconic. It's something that makes it addictive, but still clearly reptilian from what I've been able to figure out. Maybe kobold, but I'm thinking it's something more serpentine, given clothing of those I saw at the warehouse. And he kind of shudders a little bit.
You're
And-
starting to cut out a bit, bud.
Oh, sorry. He
fine.
shudders a little bit, and he says, the workers at the warehouse were wearing a lot of snakeskin material. Smooth snakeskin, too. I could feel it just from the sight of it. You could hear the sibilance of it. And Fulcrum will nod and, good. That's good that we have that. And then Fulcrum looks at you and says, and you, New Blood, what do you have to report?
Well, the only I had to give the information I gathered about the dragon's blood and things like that due to gain the location of Yelphus. I gave it to the murder, the Black Feathers. It was either that or I pay with too much money that I didn't have. Then there was a gang that was using it. We killed, I'm assuming one of their higher ups. I don't know how high up, but the Black Feathers put a price on his head. Kringauer, it's an ogre, and we took him out. When I went to, they were
Stop.
peeling off. Okay.
You took a contract on housework.
Are the Blackfeathers a house?
And he kind of like shakes his head and he goes, "You haven't been told yet, have you?"
No, I don't believe so. I was hired to rescue a person and I did it. I didn't know there was any house associated with this.
When you get back to where you came from and you speak with Malkin, let him know that you took the contract. It's a few steps above where I think he'd be comfortable with you, especially if you don't even know who you're working for.
Okay.
Continue.
Well, rescued him. Here he is. My original task also was to retrieve a Kyber dragon shard, I'm assuming, from a dwarf dying dead? Unsure. He's a statue, and I have it here in my shadow. I don't know if I'm supposed to give this to you, or whatever have you.
I received word from Wayrun. I know that you're supposed to give it to me. I'm surprised that you have it by now. I thought it would take you longer.
Well, my apologies, and I'll just reach into my shadow and pull out the dragon shard.
Okay. And yeah, like this is, I think, the first time you've actually been able to pull it out and examine it since you initially took it. And it is, like, it's just a thing of beauty. It's long, it's sharp, it has that sort of slight curve to it that a scorpion stinger has.
Mm-hmm.
And you know from your, like, knowledge of the arcane that this thing is not just a dragon shard. There's something to it. It is basically pulsing with power as you pull it out and hand it over to. And,
Okay, so that's some powerful voodoo.
and you'll see them take it, and they'll like lift it up and look at it, and this is a bigger specimen than Wayrun specified, but the engineer should still be able to craft something from it. You say that, well, you didn't say, but from what I heard, a creature of the Kyber attacked someone with it, and this was slowly killing them.
Oh, is that what was happening? I assume. Like, it was in his chest, and if this was a person, it was a statue when I got to it. Him.
Yes, the engineer should be able to make something from this. Good. Well, I have no further work for you.
Okay.
You're to return to New Seer when you find yourself able. Raise no suspicions. Speak to Malkin when you can.
So, a thing that happened, and I don't know if I'm supposed to ask you or not. I'm just trying to make sure I cover all, consistency, cover all my bases. I had help acquiring that from a person, and I told him if I had a reward of any sort, I was to give 50% with him, and he helped me get that. So if there is a reward, fantastic. I just would hate to show up and give him 50% of nothing.
So what do you want taken care of? The reward or the person?
Oh, the reward. Having allies in places is better than not having it.
And they stand up and they move to the side, and you see them crouch down in front of a small safe and slot in a couple of keys and twist a wheel. And then they take some coins out and stand and put those coins on the desk. And it's 10 platinum and it's 1 Kundarak opal.
Well, thank you. I don't know how I'm going to split an opal, but I think
Don't split the opal. If necessary,
figured-
just give the other one the coins.
Oh, okay. About the same thereabouts?
No, the opal is worth far more.
Oh, okay.
You work for us. Whoever this other person is, they don't.
I think 5 platinum will be just fine.
And he says, as you wish.
And then I'll drop all that into my shadow.
Okay. So Fulcrum and Pela don't really have anything else for you. There's really, you are more than welcome to stay here and chill out if you would like. But in general, this is considered to be sort of like a guarded safe house.
So a safe house for me.
Yeah. This is somewhere where you can, if you're in trouble, you can go and, they will either try to smuggle you out. They may protect you. It depends.
Okay, cool. I should probably go help the rest of the group. I would feel really bad to just ditch them, but thank you very much. I appreciate the job and the work.
You did well here. I look forward to having you do well again in the future.
Oh, well, I shall try to please.
Do that. And he'll just kind of like wave you off, and Yelphis will look at you and say, I'm going to stay until I
That
can
makes sense.
find a good way out of here and out of town, hopefully while under guard.
Well, it's been fun, Yelphis. I'm glad to see you're alive, and maybe we'll run into each other another time.
That would be nice. You're pleasant.
I try. Well, ta-ta now. Bye-bye then.
Okay. And we will jump over to Zeract and Lumio, who are going back to the Frozen Throne.
Indeed.
So yeah, are you guys just sort of traveling over there and gonna just hop inside?
That makes sense.
Okay. I didn't know if you're like, under cover of darkness, we move with the shadow, or if you're like, yeah, we're just gonna go
It's
there.
a
we're
large
gonna walk
city.
inside.
People go everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Zerax will suggest that going at evening will probably be easier, even though the moon may not be full at this point. Having the daylight a little bit clearer is probably still going to be beneficial for the work.
Okay. Cool. So the four of you go to the Frozen Throne. Corley speaks with Forsidna as the you guys are all getting there, and Corley says, "Keep an eye on her. I will guard the door and the perimeter, and I will let you know if any of his men start to show back up. He may have kept a guard here." And Forsidna will nod and follow the two of you inside.
Now, Lumio, I can't say what this will necessarily entail, but my hope is that by utilizing some of my connection to the moons, that we're able to effectively detect at longer distance this zone. I know that you're, well, of the rest of us, you're the most magically capable otherwise. If you have insight or assistance that you think that you can provide here, I would welcome it.
I'm sorry, if there was a dark spot in my mind when it comes to the magics, the plains is definitely it. Also, religion and just about everything that's been going on here in the physical world in the last 10 minutes to 15 days.
Oh,
Just to be specific, very specific.
I see. Well, let's see what we get out of this, and we can go from there.
Yeah.
I'll explain.
Have you found any kind of grounding stone or anything that would might potentially make this easier?
My hope is that's what the throne itself will be for us.
Sorry, I was thinking more of where you will originate from as far as the looking that you're doing.
Explain. Feel free to elaborate on that.
So if the moons in their travel above the sphere in the oh gosh, of course I forget. Is it Kithaver, or is the dragon in the middle? Kyber's the below. What's the dragon above?
So the dragon above is Sybaris.
Sybaris.
The dragon you're on is Eberron, and the dragon below is Kyber.
That's right. Okay, so as the moons travel with Sithis, their ability to and your ability to commune with them would be impacted by the distance they are from you, and the objects that are in the way. There are, of course, the zones of which you're so familiar, and they, I believe, are found by focusing through some kind of object or orientation of the other spheres. It gets fuzzy as I have studied this, and not nearly enough. But the idea being, we could create a point where we could potentially focus your energies, or clear out interfering ones. Was my thought.
I see. More than distance as they're facing when they're full, and we can see more of them from Eberron. So too is access to their energies more capable. Were we to set up something like the standing stones that we saw just outside of New Seer, that might be a reasonable place to not only track the moons themselves, but also potentially focus their energies. But I can't imagine here in Star Alaska that there's much that would assist us. It's not a bad thought, just not one that I think that we are set to pursue at this stage.
Staroslasker is a port city. In fact, multiple ports. It's got more than everything than it needs. We may be able to find a great deal of carelessly discarded things than you may think. I would not hesitate to imagine people would even sell standing stones like the ones you described just moments ago, were we to find the right seller and or buyer. But I think something more easily movable would be much more in tune with what we're looking for. Something probably of the domain that we're looking for. I should think some kind of larger piece of ice of permanency or some such.
Well, so the throne itself should serve as a focal point because it is a large object with connection to that plane, and so I think that using that as a focus is a fine idea. It's why we're here in the first place. This inn.
I'm sorry, I may have missed a point in the discussion earlier, but do we have access to the throne to use it as such?
You should be able to get close to it. We've seen our good goblin friend do so in the past.
Yeah, like the throne is just in the middle of the inn. Well, not in the middle of the inn, but it's easily accessible because it's this whole red spot right here. Like everything within this is the throne.
Okay.
Well, not just the throne, but it's the throne and then sort of the dais that the throne is sitting on.
Right. For some reason I was thinking that the throne was the thing, was a part of the tomb that we were trying to get into.
No. The throne is sort of the thing that this inn is named after, and it's kind of this place's gimmick. They make a bunch of cold food and they have a bunch of cold stuff because the throne kind of, it doesn't necessarily radiate cold, but it does freeze things that touch it.
Okay. So then that is exactly what I was describing. Is doing the thing that we were doing.
Well, yeah.
No, it actually makes sense because Lumio wasn't here before when they were here. He stayed at the Sornath smithy.
Yeah.
So like he's describing this thing that they all need because he's never actually seen this.
I'm assuming that as they walk in, Zeract just kind of like waves an arm at the thing that's, like misting in the middle of the inn as the servers walk up and place cups on it. And
Yeah.
Wow,
remove
that
the
thing
cold
must be
cup.
tied to that cold plane that you were talking about. Again, I'm not an expert.
I brought us here for a reason, friend Lumio. I think that this is perhaps a more perfect method of trying to do this. Unfortunately, the question is whether the staff will give us time and space to do so. Let's go
That
see
is
if
a
we
good
can
point.
sweeten that discussion.
All right then.
Okay. So what are you doing?
Zarek will approach the bar and see if she can start a conversation with the bartender.
Actually, before we do that, Lumio would like to know what what your ritual would entail, so he can describe it in a way that might the patrons of the bar be observing it the entire time, not be distressed by it.
I imagine there's going to be some chalk, and there's going to be some circles, and probably some vocalizations. But past that point, Zarek isn't entirely sure. She's never done this before.
Oh, all right then. Let's see. We are attempting to take a survey to create a replica that we will be building in, let's say, what's that place that Studio Ghibli made?
You're talking about the place with the floating castles.
Yeah, that place.
Oh, on Dare.
On Dare, yeah. We were sent to get a. We had heard about it. The story that we'll be saying is we are getting a survey of the object to create a replica that we might attempt to do with the similar powers.
We want to study it without taking yours.
Exactly. We'd be willing to pay for the time and possible interruption. And I will be happy to help out if there are any damages. No.
Don't mention that part. Zeract is like, no, like finger on throat, cut that part out.
Well, you can't possibly drain it of all of its power.
I have no.
You might
intention
be
of
able
draining
to
it.
redirect it, but that would only be temporary at best, I should think.
My intention isn't to drain it of power; it's to find out where it goes.
Right, and or comes from. So what I'm trying to get at is your chalk outline is not going to physically damage anything, nor would you be interacting with it in such a way that might remove its ability to make cold food as to make this place famous.
That's fair.
So assuaging of them of that condition, and you do not plan to do so, correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
Not
then,
my intention in the slightest.
then I will be able to speak freely with them and explain that none of their fears, which will be very relevant, will come to pass.
Very well.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it is a Galanda Inn, which means that the majority of the people working here are halflings. When the two of you step up to the bar, you will see one of the halflings sort of climb a small step stool so that you're mostly at eye level.
Mm-hmm.
And they will say, "Hello, my friend. How can I help you today?"
Master Halfling, I am here on a bit of a well, I'm not here for the food, unfortunately, but on a mission of study. The place, the throne, the center of power of which this place gets its name, is something of a thing that I am particularly of interest in and wish to study. Not for a long period of time, but I wonder if you would allow us to do some short measurements and perform a small sounding ritual, which is designed to get a understanding of the connection it shares to the plane of cold, which it must draw its power from. Or at least that's our summation based on the information that we've had so far.
Give me a diplomacy check, please.
Of course.
At that point, Zerect will palm some coins on the table.
Give me a
Because this is-
diplomacy check with a +1.
Yay!
Very clearly a bribe.
Where's my diplomacy? Oh, yes, alphabetically. Not bad. Could have been better. Could have been a lot better.
He says, "Well, my friend, if the two of you are willing to wait until the tables that are closest to the throne move and allow us to seat our guests across from you, I will offer you no privacy, because this is not what we do here, but you will be allowed to study to your heart's content, provided you do not break or damage or injure the throne in any way."
Absolutely. It is our intention to replicate it, not to decimate it. The more intact it stays, the better we can understand how it works. Thus, it's against our goal to do any damage whatsoever to it. How long would it take? Are you saying that you will not seat people at the tables that are nearest to it until then, or for a brief interim?
Yeah, so he's saying that they're not going to move anyone, but they will stop seating people like in these. And when the people that are currently in those tables move, because there's always people here. Like it's a restaurant. There's people here. When they leave, they'll just stop seating people there so that you can do what you need to do.
Excellent. Do we actually need them to move?
Having some space to do the ritual would make sense.
Okay. Then I yes. I guess we wait.
Okay. So yeah, it takes you, you're just kind of like standing around or drinking a little bit for like another hour or so, and then eventually all of the people that were in the tables adjacent to it are done, and then he will walk by and goes, "Well, all of you will get an hour, maybe two, to do your work. At that point, the lunch rush will come in, and this will be out of my hands."
We certainly accept your hospitality. Thank you so much for your taking the trouble to help us.
Okay, so Zeract, this is going to be another part of this skill challenge. What I need from you is a knowledge planes, a knowledge arcana, and a knowledge history.
Okay.
Either of you can roll it, but there's only one roll. The other one can assist if they would like. But those are the three rolls that need to happen.
Okay. Knowledge planes and history are kind of my bag. So I'll do those, and then although if Lumiu can give that, I don't know if Lumiu can assist if he's not trained in it.
I'm trained in every form of knowledge.
Okay.
I'm just not great at some of them.
And then Zeract will give Lumiu a shot at the knowledge arcana. And
Okay.
will assist with that.
That's my specialty. And yeah, I can definitely assist in the history. I'm very good with that. Planes is kind of a miss. All right, I'm gonna roll the Arcana.
Yeah. I can't fail assisting you with Arcana, so
Ooh. All right. I didn't add. Yeah. So that's. I'm afraid I'm full Ericing tonight.
is that +2? Is there a plus
It
2 on
isn't
top
yet.
of
No,
this?
that's 9 is my base stat, so that would be 15 total.
Okay, so you get a 15 on the Knowledge Arcana. Go ahead and do the history for me.
Okay.
And I'm
Let me-
assisting there. Don't I have to roll to make sure I assist?
Yes.
Yeah, if you've got a bonus of +10, then you can't fail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's-
Because you're just trying to beat a 10.
I don't yet. So. Oh,
Okay.
really? Okay.
No assist.
Okay. That's also me rolling like shit. So,
Mhm.
And the knowledge plane. This is actually something that I think is really pivotal to Zirakt's understanding of things. Like this is a new thing that she's going to try. That is really testing her connection to the planes, to the moons themselves. I'm going to spend a hero point on this.
Ooh.
So I'm going to take that +8.
And I'm going to roll my attempt to help. Hey,
There we go.
don't not help, which is good. Oh, lordy, he a coming.
Okay.
A 29 pre-hero points still would have been good, but a 37 is fucking phenomenal.
All right. So that you know, that is a failure on the Knowledge Arcana. That is a failure on the Knowledge History. And a success on the Knowledge Plane. So I will tell you what you get from the Knowledge Planes, which is you're able to sort of like, you have kind of the process that you need to go through, but not the steps, because the Arenal wizard like said that she's not giving you the steps. And so you're sort of fumbling along and trying to do what you can, and then you realize that you are able, because this thing is tied to that manifest zone, you are able to sort of like, while channeling and concentrating on this, get that sort of like ping of where that zone is. And it seems to be a little bit to like north by northeast of where you are, and down, not too far down, but farther than you would think. So it's not like this is, oh, we have to go a mile underground. It's nothing like that. But it's probably farther underground than Zirakt has ever been before. You're just getting that sort of like low throb. But you're not able to really use it to sort of like douse a way to it. What you are able to kind of pick up from this as you're doing that is that this throne is keyed to that particular manifest zone. Not every manifest zone to Teresia, but that manifest zone. But you don't know how or why, just that this one belongs to that.
Okay. All right. If nothing else, that's a fantastic piece of information about how items can be constructed and sort of the role that they can take tied to a specific place. And really sort of enhances the value of any manifest zone that Zirakt comes across, including the one that's still in use here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a phenomenal bit of information, and she will happily tuck that away for later.
Yeah. And the two of you are basically able to like work together too. And like Lumio, you can even sort of, when you're helping Zirakt take place in it, you can get like the sort of a dull ping of where it is. Zirakt, for you, it's far more clear. Like as you're near this and constructing that ritual and performing it, you have basically a direct line from you to that place. The thing is that in the way of that line is all of the ground.
Yeah,
But-
the rest of the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's any additional way that we can use this aside from what we've done thus far. That's probably it. Like this was a long shot, but it was a educational trip.
Yeah, you didn't have the knowledge or the experience to kick off the entire thing the way you needed to, and without a good context of precisely what this is and what it's used for, you're sort of hoping. You're flailing around and hoping for the best. Very clearly, like, if you think about magic on Eberron as magic is science, magic is how they do science here. You are still in a very experimental phase with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it was a good shot. You just didn't have all the knowledge.
Fair enough.
So
Not with the intention not of for this skill check, because I feel like that skill has been done. But Zaractyl set aside with the idea of grabbing Sharut later, trying to get some of that historical context so that she can see if she can work this into something
okay,
further down the line.
sounds good.
Cool.
And then we will jump over to Sharut and Dandarin, the world's most confusing buddy cop movie.
They're both muted.
I
Well,
mean-
one's
Best buddy cop movie is what you mean.
you're no Turner and Hooch.
Back in the beard.
It's just Hooch and Hooch.
The even better buddy cop movie.
There's so much drool. This whole movie just feels moist.
Look, we did really well in the box office.
Saturated.
Okay.
Okay, so Sharut, the two of you wanted to go up and examine this house over here.
Yes. And I can't remember if I did a knowledge local on it before, or not. I'd like to know like what kind of building it is. Since it looks larger, I'm assuming it's some sort of like business or guild-tied house.
It's you can't really tell from the outside. What you do see is that there is a stone foundation. That part's very clear, and stone walls up until the third floor. At which point it stops being like carved or shaped stone and more becomes like brick. And it has sort of a small fence around it with sort of, like stone posts and then like wrought iron spikes in between the other bits. So you don't know what it is exactly. You just know that it's sort of gated and it looks big and nice.
Is there a lot of traffic into the place, or is it a pretty like what's the word I'm looking for? Quiet building.
How long do you watch?
I'd say about 20 minutes, give or take. Just
Okay.
kind of get an idea.
Yeah, you're able to, over the course of 20 minutes, you probably see about 2 people go in. You see a human male dressed in pretty good finery go in at one point. Like, literally, he's walking down the street. He stops at the gate and says a couple of things, and then he goes in. And then about 15 minutes later, you see another human male, again, dressed pretty well, come down the street, says something to the guard, goes in. So there's not a ton of traffic, not a lot of like wagons going in and out, but that's what you see.
Is there a not a rookery, but a post for the night feathers?
The Black Feathers.
Black feather. Yeah. Is there a post for the black feathers nearby?
No.
All right. Sharut is going to speak in Goblin since Dandarin understands Goblin, and that's just easier. I am open to suggestions on how to get inside. If you think we need to sneak in, looks a place of.
I don't know. Well, I suppose we could
Oh, go
we could
ahead.
try sneaking it, but there's always the option of looking for, like I said, alternative routes. You don't necessarily need to be in a building. After all, these are built on ruins. You think they're going to build buildings on top of all of the old buildings? A few of them had to be excluded. Otherwise, there was no point in building on top of you. Just rebuild.
I did look around the area, and this is what I could find. So perhaps there is some other entrance I missed nearby.
Aye. Well, regardless, we can continue to try and look for a structural route in, or did you already look up the history of this area? See if it had any corresponding spots on your in your findings? Anything that would have given you a clear indicator as to the purpose of this area? You mentioned something of the such.
Unfortunately, much of that information was lost. But what I can tell you is that this was part of Burr City. It is where most of the slaves lived, and where entrances into the lower city be found to some.
See,
And Sharut kind of like, because he knows like the basic area of where the majority of the city was centered, he kind of outlines that on his map for Dandarin.
all right.
Yeah.
So looking at the map, since he has an actual map for me to look at, do I see anything that would have like indicate to me, like from my knowledge of the ruins and like mirror holds, because there are ruins similar to this all throughout the mirror holds.
Yeah.
Do I see anything that would like give me a hint as to like how they might have laid out that old city?
Give me a if you have knowledge history, you could give that a shot. You could also do if you have like a knowledge warfare or architecture and engineering, any of those would work. But you're going to be applying some experience, since you're like applying like the Mror holds experience to this. It's a vastly different society. So you can roll it. It's just going to be at a -2.
Oh well, it's not just because remember the Mror holds are built on there's old dwarf ruins, but they also have the old Goblin Empire ruins.
You know what?
Like,
that is true.
Yeah, they have that. That's what my thought was.
So
is because they have both of those old catacombs. So I would have given where Sarnath Hold is and everything.
Yeah, it's
If you still want to give me the penalty, it's fine.
Yeah, you're still going to take the penalty, and it's for a specific reason. Which, if you make the roll, I will let you know.
Okay. Well, here's hoping all the bad luck went to Lumio. Hey.
Okay. So, and I'll draw this out for you again. So, from what Sharud is able to tell you, the city, for the most part, the upper city, it looks like mostly mimicked the lower city, and the lower city was about this big. So it was like about a third the size of Star Lasker, but it was a third up top and a third down below. And you're putting that together with what you know of Sornath Hold, and it's a little weird to you because in Sornath Hold, the Dakani didn't build on the are in the Mror Holds in general. The Dakani didn't build on the surface because they didn't need to. They had dwarven slaves the same as they had like elven and human slaves and stuff, but dwarves can survive underground without like going crazy, or they can also see that sort of stuff. Humans in the mostly human part of the world can't. If you just take a bunch of people and put them into a cave for years, like they can't survive. What Sharud is saying is like, you need to have your sort of like slave cities up top. And you realize, well, if you're going to have that, you wouldn't just have like a prime entrance. You would probably also have sort of martial entrances, like places for your army or your barracks to kind of gather and have to leave and that sort of thing. So what you're imagining is that you're looking for places that are able to have a lot of people go in and out at the same time, because they would be sending entire armies out. Because Sharut tells you, and from what you know from the Mror Holds, you don't march underground. You march above ground, even if you're going to fight someone else who's below ground. Because if you're just following tunnels, a mile of surface might be 5 miles underground, because you have to go where the tunnel wills. So you're thinking that if this over here is the main entrance, it doesn't necessarily make sense to have a military entrance this close to it. This one would probably make more sense. This one that he said.
Right.
So that would be your best guess, given the information that he's given you and what you can apply to. Well, like even Sornath Hold, if you take into account like the main ways in and out, there's kind of the grand way, and then there's like the way an army would go.
All right. Well, Sharut, what I know here, and he'll point on his map and kind of explain what was just said. Doesn't make sense to have an entrance over here. It's too close to the main route. But you'd want to get your troops out, and this prime northern spot right here, that makes sense. There'd probably be something under here. I think we should go there to take a look.
I would
Focus
agree.
our attentions on that spot. Good. Let's go then. Don't want to be here particularly longer than I have to. But with what's been going on the last few days.
The sooner we leave this city, the better.
Indeed. Away.
Exunt. So around this time, Delian.
Yep.
You see Sharut and Dandarin walking away from this place that they were supposed to go looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw Dandarin kind of lean over and motion in a different way, and Sharut's like, and they start walking that way, and you see them heading down the road.
I'll. That's what a setup. This is where you actually say hey and join back in with the group.
Sorry, guys, that poop really took it out of me.
Never trust the tavern. Anyways, hey guys, sorry to be late to the party. Had to see my friend Yelphus off. Obviously, everybody's
That seems
getting
like
out of
a
Dodge.
perfectly reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, I thought so too. And since he was feeling a bit under the weather with him being flayed constantly, I figured I would see him off. So he's doing well, bad, but you know it's
As well as
better
can
than
be
it was.
expected.
Yeah. So it looks like we're standing outside here and we're heading off somewhere else. Mind if I join you?
Of course. The more the merrier.
Ah, fantastic.
We've just discovered the way we believe is going to be more likely to bear fruit.
Okay, like an
Sure.
an alternative entrance, not a fruit tree.
Yes, not in the literal sense. You are correct. It's a metaphor.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, I just wanted to be sure. You can never tell with dwarves.
Well, we're not that literal.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. At least I
To
can
tell-
put that rumor to bed.
What?
Please do.
is
It's a
metaphor?
terrible. You see now that I don't know that he's kidding.
I don't think he is, and we'll explain a metaphor on the way to the new location.
It's like a lie that's true. Sharut does not understand.
Isn't that just truth? Now you're kind of there.
It's like when you compare things, but you don't need to. Then why?
Why waste your breath, man?
Why not
talking's
just
difficult.
explain it how it is?
So you'll say, like, the guy's as tall as a tree, then people know he's real tall. Is he as tall as a tree? Well, of course not. Sharut does not understand.
This makes no sense to Sharut.
Why would you not say he is as tall as a tall man?
Well, what's your comparison? Where's your point of reference there, Sharut?
You could just give height. Example: Sharut 3'3".
Well, not everyone is literate, and you have to. Sometimes people just use jargon and idioms. Okay, it's just. a
Oh,
way of
my
talking.
favorite's teach a man to fish. Explain that one to him.
If you teach a man to fish, you don't have to go fishing with him. You don't bring him the fish. I'm from underground. I don't understand it.
So
Delia,
this goes
take it
on
from
for a bit.
Yeah. I like the Ron Swanson one. The give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish. Don't teach a man to fish. Fishing's not that hard. And that's it. That's the whole thing. All right. So, yeah, you guys go to what is a 2-story. It's a pair of buildings that are fairly squarish, and they are both 2 stories tall. And there is sort of a small linking walkway on the second floor that links the 2 buildings. It is again kind of a gated building. You see that it has those, cornerstones that have like iron fences in between the stone corners. It has a gate, and it looks like something interesting is happening here, because inside the gate in front of the house you see that there's a lot of there's a number of wagons. There's a good amount of equipment. You see a couple of tents. You see a fair number of humans and half-orcs, many of whom are dressed far too warmly for the current environment. Like you see them with like cloaks on, and then they'll have like these huge fur mantle on the cloaks, very Night's Watch style. And in addition to these humans and half-orcs, you see a number of full-blooded orcs. Not that many, but they're still present. You see a pair of ogres, and you see this creature that looks almost like a reptilian lion with a pair of golden wings. I will send you all a link to one, and then I will also show that on the stream. It looks like that. Not only do you see this creature, but you also see a flag bearing that creature's countenance sort of just hanging off the side of one of the tents.
That's a weird thing.
Sharut
Sharut,
believes-
what kind of beast is that?
Sure,
I-
if you would like, you can roll a knowledge arcana to see what kind of beast is that.
He is not trained in Arcana.
I will do it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not gonna say I'm doing it, but I'm just gonna look at it, and if I
step
know,
up to the
I'll say
creature and I
something.
taste it for more information.
What does it taste like? Bitterness and death. Well, I'm dead now.
They
So,
poisoned the
yeah, that
tapestries.
seems right.
That is the correct thing to roll. Yes, it is not the correct number to roll. No, you are unable to
So-
identify the creature.
That's fine. I'll say nothing.
Okay.
To answer his question, Sharut does not know the creature, but Sharut can hazard guess. This is House Thrask.
Ah,
From information Sharut found, they have been hired to go under city.
oh,
Okay.
If I can
That goes
clarify
well,
that
actually.
real quick for you, Sharut. The majority of the money that House Thrask makes is from finding dragon shards. They have the mark of finding. They basically make the majority of their money from finding dragon shards and from like bounty hunting on occasion. So it's not necessarily that somebody hired them. It's probably that they surveyed some caverns and then they went, "Oh shit, there's some down here," and then they got a team together to go.
Do you know if they're hostile?
Sharut do not think they are hostile. They
Okay.
simply look for dragon shard, may be able to join them in their journey.
Oh, well, that's good
well,
news.
then we'd potentially be stuck in a contract with them kind of work for who knows how long.
Yeah, and
Ideally, we just want to get down there, and if we find some interesting things, that's wonderful. But remember the goal, Sharut.
what's
I mean-
the goal?
The goal is getting out of the city alive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
preferably protected.
Sharut simply think this would be good excuse to gain easy access into Kyber. Few questions.
After all,
Easy to get lost in tunnels. House Thrask would know.
is there a sewer system here?
I
I
mean,
can only imagine.
Yeah, well, of course you can imagine, but you never know with these surface dwellers. Not all of them are so civilized.
but also looking at their clothing makes me think we're gonna need something warm, and Sharut does not have anything.
Oh, I've got an extra winter set of clothing right here.
Wow, it's still got the blood on it.
Amazing.
I guess Sharut takes it. Is there anyone like that looks like they're in charge? Are they moving freely into the gates here?
They're not wearing anything that necessarily signifies rank. House Thrask is not like an organized military, so it's not like they have epaulets or insignia or anything like that. But yeah, they are moving around freely within the grounds. You haven't seen anybody else arrive or leave yet, but the people that are inside the fence are just moving around.
I think we try and sneak in with these guys because they're not super organized. We can get a few like heavier garbs and then just say we're part of the expedition to go underneath for dragon shards and then get quote unquote lost because tunnels. That's my suggestion, but I am open to other suggestions. Anybody has a better one?
Wait, what's stopping us from going down there anyway?
I
You
mean, this
think
is
they'll like kill us.
well, this is a gated thing.
Oh.
So I don't know if there's some sort of like requirement or paperwork. I think Sharut is just loath to fill out any sort of paperwork at this point.
They
Wow.
don't deserve it.
He's waste time.
Yeah.
He's waste. I think he's
I-
more pissed that it's just a waste. Like not just of time, but of resources.
Okay, so while you guys think of what you want to do, how about we go on a quick break, and then we can come back at 8:45 and finish out this scene.
Sounds
cool.
like a plan. Yep.
All right, cool. Then I will active this again, and I will go up here and do my jank ass. We'll be right back. ooh, how jank.
So jank.
So good.
Gotta
yeah.
love that jank.
All right, so everybody will be back in about 10 minutes. Thanks.
Good beans.
And we're back.
We're big, like the Razors.
We're back.
When did we get that sponsorship?
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
Wait.
They've got a pretty good model. You know,
I can
the
do
whole-
that
the Razor.
spiffing Brit thing where he just keeps talking about Yorkshire tea, and they just refuse to sponsor him.
I thought you said we're
I
big.
mean, we had a
like
pretty
the
strong
lighters.
Campbell's play, I feel.
We did have a pretty
That's
good
true.
couple of weeks of talking
They
about
offered.
Campbell's.
We've got it down. It's fine.
Okay, so Eric's here, and Travis, are you here?
Yeah.
Cool. So we will jump back over to that group, and man, Starch Bomb is right. We got to get some. We gotta get some lemon pastry sponsorships. I think that's been our most loved thing of this series, mostly because Sharut got introduced to foreigner food, and that includes sugar, and he was just like, "Guys, have you had sugar?"
I realize it's
Tastes great.
yeah, maybe a little surprising to those of you who are new to it, but sugar's great, and we're like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, you can put it in all kinds of stuff. Wait, there's more? Everything that I've had up on the surface has just been meat and this one pie. Oh yeah, dude, there's a lot of stuff you could put sugar on your meat if you want to.
Dandrin to Lumio. Why did you tell him that?
I've done it to every goblin who's come up to the surface.
I love the idea of checking in on Schrute in 10 years, and he's just like, he's fat. He lives in a little in a little studio above a pastry shop, and he's like, Schrute, finally happy.
Just like shoves another tart into his mouth. He's like, "Hail the Dakani."
The new Dakani Empire.
Lumia walks into the room and says, "I think they're so cute this way," and he like pats him on the cheek.
It's just his plan all along. Lumia's got a weird fetish for fat goblins. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know.
Sharut see you in a high chef position in Dakani Empire.
Okay. So, Dandarin, Sharut, and Dillian, what have you decided to do here?
Not go through here.
Yeah, we'll go another way.
Okay. So at this point, you went to Site 1. You realize, looking at Site 1, talking to Sharut, Site 3 is your best bet. That's probably right, considering that it's currently being accessed by someone. So, what are you doing? Are you gonna meet back up with the other group? Are you looking around more?
So I think
We should meet back up, I think.
yes, but I think Dillian and Dandarin take a minute to explain to Sharut a little more about House Thrask and their mark of finding and how it's a bad idea, and then suggest that it's probably just better to go through the catacombs at this point.
Yeah, they maybe tell you that, hey, there's no real Eric. Right into the mic, man. They probably tell you that there's no real. We'll just get lost, and they won't find us in the tunnels with House Tharashk.
Yeah.
Finding in the tunnel is kind of what they do, and it is a dragon shard dig. Apparently, if House Tharashk is interested in going underground, so getting involved in it in the wrong way can make you a target of the house. So.
Which we have enough targets on our backs, so let's not. Oh, why? Why is it?
So.
So at this point, I think we'll meet back up with the others. But before we do, if we can, Sharut wants to swing by a supplies store to pick up some cold weather outfits.
Yeah, I'll go with you to help fund it.
Sounds good.
Endrin already has 2 sets of cold weather outfits.
Well, you gave one to Sharut, so you have one.
Oh, that's true. I suppose that did happen. What a factual thing to say.
Well, I don't like it, not one bit.
Sharut, how do you find anything in your pack? Find?
Sharut's back where things go to die.
Yeah, so they tell you it's easy to find a store, like a clothing store, that might have something like this. But they let you know that the majority of what they had was already purchased by House Tharashk. And they say that they've got a couple more, but those have already sort of been put on the docket to be given to the members of the house that are in town.
Any available in our size? And he kind of points to Dillian and himself, because from what he saw from the people in House Thrask, there weren't too many.
You
of
actually
the
saw
taller
like no small-sized people there.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Dillian, can you assist?
Like, if you think about it, you probably have a couple in the back. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. Like an entire stock, especially. What do they put it on, the horses? Come on. Do us a solid.
I like him assisting with diplomacy is just him going, come on. Hey.
Hey,
Come on.
Are you saying it's not?
Did it work?
But just think about it. Just think about it.
Yeah, go
Take a
ahead
second.
and
Think about
roll to assist.
Fuck me.
Okay, Sharut, you get a +2.
I know.
Jesus.
What a roll to blow on that. But
What a
he's really
roll.
convinced by the.
My guy, come on.
seriously. I was Sharut over at we're gathering. They put coats on horses. Waste. So wasteful. Do not eat.
Yeah, but them were some pretty cool looking horses, though, right?
You make it clear that like the small sized ones aren't going to be selling, like the ones that you might sell to a halfling or a gnome or hey, even a goblin. And so they accept that, and the tailor will tell you, okay, yeah, we can sell those to you. And then when Dillian's like, you have a couple extras, you're just waiting for the price to go up. You see that there's a little bit of like, well, I mean, yeah, of course we are. So
Eric, we're getting a little clips from your mic.
yeah, can you pop out and then pop back in? That was weird. That happens sometimes in my Thursday game too, where it like flutters in and out thanks to Discord being weird.
Thanks, Discord. I hate it.
It's doing it again. Why is that happening?
What's going on?
Damn you, Discord! No, we can't hear you.
Well, because he just muted himself.
Well, like it looked like he was trying to talk through the stuff.
Nope. It was picking up something. Is he picking up something right now?
Yes.
Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still like there's definitely some interference there.
Try like unplugging your mic and plugging it back in. See if that helps. But yeah. So he was looking for, or his eyebrows raised when.
Yeah, and you can tell that based on what they're saying that and the reaction that you're getting and that Dillian's getting, that yeah, he's completely right. They definitely have some more that they're holding on to until the price goes up a little bit more. And it seems like they'd be willing to sell them, but they're going to sell them for that higher price. So they would gladly sell a cold weather outfit to you and Dillian each for 8 gold. But if you want additional cold weather outfits for anyone, it will be 16 gold.
How many
So
do we need
each for 8 gold, you said?
Yes.
for you and me?
Yeah, just for you and for ones in your size, not for
Yeah.
everyone that you buy.
Sorry, I meant 8 apiece. So that would be 16 for Dillian and Sharut.
In total, yeah.
Okay. So Sharut can buy his. And then we have the one from Dandarin. Dandarin has one. We need one more at that size. So one more at the medium size. And then I don't know if we should take the bodyguards, but I don't think we have a choice.
Hired.
But then again, they are professional bodyguards, so maybe they're prepared.
I mean,
So-
if they've been told that they're going on the road from one place to another, they're not prepared for blizzard conditions.
That's fair.
how much for? Let's see, Warforged. Would it affect a Warforged?
Extreme cold? Yeah, it'll still affect them.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 medium.
-1. We need 3
Okay,
because
3.
Dandarin had an extra that he gave to Sharut.
Yeah, and I will purchase my own as well because
'Kay.
I don't want me down.
Yeah.
Um,
So
So-
can you cover this?
yeah, of course.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've got this. You guys help me out. It's time I return the favor a little bit.
Okay. You get some sort of nice double layered parkas, basically, with mantled cloaks to go over them.
Mhm.
Yeah, they ask if there's anything else they can help you with.
Are you gonna scalp us, or are we gonna do this reasonably?
I'm trying to think if there's anything we might need before going down there.
Yeah.
Um,
No, this is only a clothier. This isn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. This is like a tailor's. Got
Yeah.
it.
No, I'm
No.
good.
No, we're good.
Okay.
So that'll probably equal out to
It comes out to 64 gold.
Cheers. Yeah.
Wait, 64?
Yeah, that's 16 times 4.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Cool.
No. Subtract 8 from that because I'm paying for mine.
Comes out to 56 gold.
There we go.
Okay. Cool. Works for me.
All right. So that you guys know, if you have any sort of what these do, if you have any sort of, you have to make a fortitude save versus cold weather, not just versus ice. Like if somebody shoots you with a cone of cold, you just get shot. But like if it's specifically against exposure to a cold environment, this gives you a +5. That's what wearing this does.
Oh, cool. Well, that's nice. I gave him the opal. Do I get change back?
Yeah, if you give them the opal, they'll break it and they'll give you the change. And by break it, I mean like they'll accept the opal and they'll just give you the equivalent amount of coins.
Smash it in front of me. I was told not to do that. Okay, sounds good.
Cool. So you guys are good, and you go and you meet with Zaract and Lumio and the bodyguards.
Zaract able to use throne?
After a fashion, yes. The process works in theory. The process works. The theory is still new. I wasn't able to get the precision we were looking for. The throne does serve as a conduit to this specific zone, but it doesn't. All we could find is the rough location of the manifest zone itself, not the path necessarily to get there.
Unfortunate.
Still incredibly useful, and with implications that I think we should discuss at a later time.
Agreed. Sharut, Dandarin, and Dillian think best course of entry is through Catacomb. Could not find easier way.
But you still have that shoddy map floating around, right?
I mean, he gives him the map, or her the map. Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and mark out where the manifest zone is.
Yeah, from what you were able to gather, if you were to go, and again, this is approximate because you were in you were way down here-ish when you did this. But if you were to go in sort of a straight line to it, it would be somewhere below this point.
Okay.
I knew that librarian was hiding something from me. I go to burn the librarian.
People can be wrong without lying.
He's a small Amish man from the old country. He doesn't know that.
He was also a jerk, so definitely did it on purpose.
Oh,
Hey.
man, yeah.
Hey,
Away.
hey! I got some role protection here. I'm the jerk in this party.
No. It wasn't you. It was the
Oh,
librarian.
the librarian. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
It was-
stop him.
It was that librarian right there. That jerk.
It's time for his comeuppance. He would.
So, what would you all like to do now?
So I think we'll pass out the cold weather gear, and Sharut will make a note to Zaract that the one that she's getting is actually no. I think Sharut will have Dillian give one to Zaract. Sharut will give one to Lumio and say this belongs to Dandrid, just so we can keep track of that.
Okay.
If we need to. And we'll start heading towards the catacombs, and we're gonna get in through there.
Sounds good.
And I think we're gonna try and fake being mourners, even though Sharut has no idea what that means.
I don't have any dead here.
No, because that's not how the Connie remember their dead.
So, so you guys all go to the temples of the sovereigns, of the sovereign host, which is there.
Oh, they got a prime piece of real estate.
They do. The temple of the sovereign host looks like it was it's been built on. This was clearly old ruins. The base is old stone, and it has been built on and reinforced. You see six pillars out front that look to be very old and are each bearing the likeness of one of the sovereign hosts, and then there's two more pillars that are sort of right here and right here on the little dais that are bearing the likeness of two more of them, and then sort of above the door is the biggest of the pillars that is bearing the likeness of Orion. And within, it is a sizable church. you are in a grand cathedral, and to any of you who have ever been in a church of the Sovereign Host, it feels a bit weird because the design of it doesn't really match with the typical aesthetic of the Sovereign Host. It's very like harsh angles and harsh like corners and geometric shapes, which is a little strange for the Sovereign Host, which is usually built to be like more inviting, more arches, more like, you know, rounded shapes and like, come on, be part of this community sort of thing. And Sharut, you recognize immediately that this is built to match the look of the old Dakani foundations, which is why this is this way. The others, you may or may not recognize it based on your experience with like history and architecture. But if you've ever been in a Church of the Sovereigns before, which I'm assuming most of you have, it's the primary religion of the sort of non-monstrous races. It's a little weird. It's a little off. There doesn't seem to be a service in session right now. The church is sort of, I'll actually put it up here. What you have when you enter is basically the sort of like primary room. And then there's kind of like secondary pulpits off to each side. So if you stand in the center, oddly, there's like almost like you could watch 3 different priests give speeches at the same time. And then, you know, you see doors in the back that go to different areas that the priests would need to conduct their non-priestly duties. So, you know, bedrooms, that sort of. While there isn't a service in session at the moment, there are people there anyway, walking around or talking to each other. You see at least a good 24 people. And considering that this is the, aside from the university, and the primary, train port down here, this is the biggest single building that you've seen in the city. So it having 24 people in it doesn't mean that it's packed, not by a long shot. And you see people like, you know, heads bowed in the pews praying. You see other people up at the front moving flames to candles or placing offerings on one of the altars to the 9 hosts. So what would you all like to do?
Seract is fairly familiar with other religions.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it feasible for those who worship the host to like pay respect to their loved ones, to get down and, you know, show to do the fake thing that we say that we're going to try and do here?
Yes. There are. That's definitely something that you can do in a sovereign church. You can go and usually you're going to do it to Orion, but it doesn't necessarily have to be to Orion. You could always go to whoever that family member's patron among the host was.
Gotcha.
And you know, like if your uncle worshipped Balinor and your uncle died, then you could go to Balinor and be like, hey, you know, please watch over him, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lumio will pretend to be an attendant to one of our group.
Okay.
Probably not there to pray.
I feel like Sharut would be out of his element here, so he would probably he'd probably stick close to Zeract here because he knows that she has at least some knowledge of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he would also, I think he would, because he scribbled down a description or an outline of the room that he thinks that we're trying to get into. I think he would also slip that into her hand, just to kind of like see if it helped her point us in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Okay. So Lumio is pretending to be Zeract's attendant. Sharut, you arm Zeract with a description of the room that she's going for. Dandrin and Delian, you guys doing anything of note?
Let's think. I would say probably try my luck at also like being a part of, like, we're saying as a group we're going to pay homage to thing, but I'll just say I have a person here as well. I'm not trying to stand out, but if they ask, I will also have a person I'm trying to be like, oh, just trying to pay my respects for like a friend or whoever.
Okay. After after you guys are, sort of standing there and looking around for a few minutes, an acolyte will walk up to you. Looks to be mid-teens. It's a half-elven girl, basically wearing the sort of like the white tabard and then the black and gold, what do you call it? It's like the black and gold like hash mark of the sovereign host. It has a very
Can you hear me now?
distinctive look, and it's
Yep.
I unplugging and plugging in my mic disabled it from voice mod, which is my default Discord.
Ah, there you go.
So I was talking and y'all were talking over me. I was like, fucking rude.
Oh.
And then it was like, oh. So yeah, Dandrin had stuff he wanted to do, but it's fine. We'll move on. I just was giving an excuse as to why I haven't talked.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was like it didn't look like you were muted, and I just saw. I was like, all right, well, he's probably still messing with his mic thing, so that's cool. But glad you got it worked out. This is the symbol of the sovereign host. The points representing one of each of the gods, and the blue and gold. Yeah, they are. You are able to go up and make your pledges as you wish. But Deline, as you kind of like split off to throw an offering of like a couple copper or something onto one of the altars, the acolyte approaches the group and says, "Welcome, everyone. I haven't seen you be here before. Anything I can help you with? Anything I can do for you? It seems like a lot of you might be wanting to go down below, given how you're dressed."
Well, yeah, that'd be super convenient.
Well, I'll have to go get one of the higher ranking priests and see if they'll allow it. But I'll be right back. If you could just please stand over here. The deacon likes when people can walk right in and see everything and not have their way sort of blocked by gawkers. And
Very well.
so
We all slowly stare at Shrewd, who is clearly the gawker.
who's just sitting there looking at it going, "This is all wrong."
That's waste.
That angle needs to be at least 15 degrees in the other direction. He's speaking in Goblin the entire time.
He's saying such wonderful things.
Such wonderful thing. Yeah, and she will walk off, and then she returns with a priest, who is a half-elven woman who is dressed basically the exact same way. The sort of like very plain beige pants and shirt, and then the white tabard with the sovereign host hash mark on it. Hashtag sovereign host. Hashtag Eberron.
Yeah.
And the woman will walk up to all of you and bow, and she says, "Greetings. I'm Deacon Tiori. How can I help you? Seems like you all have either someone you're here to visit or someone you're here to bury."
Visit is perhaps the more accurate of the two.
All right. Well, could I know who so that I can put it in the books?
Uncomfortable pause.
Finger guns.
Not everybody at once.
Did the deacon just say finger guns to us?
Yes.
Thank
How are you
goodness.
going to react to that?
God damn it! I wasn't prepared.
You said
Am
uncomfortable pause.
Am
That's-
I in the
that's true.
group? I thought I had.
I mean, like, when I say you stepped away, you stepped like 5-10 feet away because you said you wanted to look at one of the nearby altars. So you're able to
Okay.
do that and then just rejoin them.
And in gnomish families, we're all sort of like interconnected, right?
Yeah, like gnomes tend to be like, "Oh yeah, it's my second cousin's third brother, twice removed," and that sort of thing. They're very they take about as much pride in their families as halflings in other settings might.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to filibuster.
Okay, so you're just gonna blather?
Yeah, not really. I'm eventually going to get to one of my relatives. We'll see how long this person sits around for that.
Okay. Can you give me a bluff
Acceptable.
check?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna because I want this to work because it's funny to me. I'm spending a hero point.
There we go. Yes.
Perfect.
I don't
You
want to
know.
get jilted by a very crummy die roll. See, that could have been bad.
I know that feel.
Okay. So, are you wanting to role play out your blather or just blather?
Yeah, let's. It would be fun. I'm not gonna roleplay the whole thing, but it's
Okay.
like, yeah, I'm here to visit my great third times removed grand uncle on my mother's. Is it my mother's? It's on my and then I'll just blather
Yeah,
and like
she
go through the lineage.
and so what you guys see is that Delian inadvertently gets her to say the name of someone who's buried below, and then doesn't immediately latch on to it. Like a few minutes later, after even more blather and a real sob story about how this uncle's cousin's brother was the closest one to him.
There's a lot of like he's trying to, I would imagine, like trying to fish for a name, so you'll hear like a lot of like finger snapping or like the waving, you know, how people.
Yeah. And you will eventually manage to get a name from her, and then she'll say, "No, I understand. He was quite the pillar of our community, so it would make sense that that his family would come to mourn. Though it's been a few years since its passing, you must have been devastated when you heard about it." So,
I was. It's just I was preoccupied with several things, and this is the first time I could get away.
well, the last couple years have been the first peaceful years in a long time. I understand. I think we'd all understand.
Oh well.
Come, please.
I don't try to change it.
Let me grab my coat and I'll lead you down.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure,
I'll do a silent finger guns as she turns away.
Silent finger guns, and then when she gets far enough away, he goes, "Fingers."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she comes back and she has a coat on, and she says, "Come with me. I'll lead you to the steps down in the crypt."
Thank you so much. Chat with finger guns of condolences for your loss, if that's how the world works.
Oh man.
My uncle died.
That would just be like, I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna think that now forever. Whenever
God damn
anyone tells me that their family member died, I'm just gonna be
Ever.
like,
Don't
guns.
ever.
I love it though. I love it. I'm not
If
not
I
even.
die before all of you, I want you to finger guns at my funeral.
You got it. You
You know
got
what?
it.
I agree.
Oh.
I will do this for you.
Just
Fucking
imagine like
done.
a mobster's funeral and like everybody's real sad, and then all of a sudden finger guns,
Hey.
like the whole group finger guns the and somebody accidentally shoots the priest. But you know,
Tony.
oh
What?
finger gun!
I thought that's what we're doing.
All right. So yeah, she leads you. She starts leading you to the crypt, and Dillian, she hands you a small glow lamp. It's a little handheld stone that is softly glowing blue, and
Nice lamp.
and she says, "Well, you'll need it. It can be very dark down there. I'm just leading you to the bottom of the stairs. I won't be going in myself without a full guard. So just know that if you're going in under your own recognizance, and there's some rules that you'll probably want to follow. It can be dangerous
Okay.
down there. If there's 2 lights, it's safe entirely. If there's 1, it's safe behind, well, usually that precise door. Thankfully, your uncle's in a place that there's 2. So you shouldn't
that's
have
good.
many problems, but you'll have to look a little bit. He's on the west side. So when you go down, after you turn, he'll be straight across the big hall.
Straight across.
So, and she starts leading you down to some steps, and she opens this big door, and you guys are all going down and down and down, and these steps just go, and they kind of like, this door is at the back of the church, right? Like, so you have gone essentially straight down the middle section. You climb up the little steps at the end where like the priest would be in their pulpit, and then there's a huge door at the back. She opens that door, and behind there are just steps. It's this very wide. It looks to be a good 40-50 feet in terms of width, and you're going, and the stairs keep going down further and further, and it gets slightly smaller as you're going until it's only like 20, maybe 30 feet apart. And there comes a point where she gets to the bottom, And she says, okay, you're on your own from here. Good luck.
Thank you.
And she says, don't take any risks. You see something, you hear something, you make it back up.
Okay, I will do that. I don't want to take any risks.
So 1 second, and I will activate this scene for all of you.
So while you're doing that, I just want to clarify what she said. She said 2 lights, safe entry, 1 light.
One light
safe.
is safe just behind the door, right? That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And let me grab Delian real quick. Delian, you have a very small light on you.
Hooray! Is the gnomish lantern? Let me see if I actually. No, it's. I don't have a. I have a hooded lantern. Is that bigger radius?
Probably. What she has handed you is not a very big radius.
Okay.
It is very, very.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry. That is way too.
That is saturated.
Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be quite that saturated. There you go.
Yeah, Zeract has a hooded lantern that is also waterproof. So if there's if it looks like this is less good than that, which is 30 foot of bright light, 30 foot of dim light, then she'll just bust hers out.
Yeah. What you have is very much better than what he has.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Then-
I'll put
yeah.
mine away.
Okay.
The small one she gave me, and I'll put out pull out mine as well, just in case.
Okay.
I won't light it, but it'll be like easily accessible, like on my belt or something.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Give me just a second here because for some reason I don't have the bodyguards saved where they should be. So I will have to go to the other map and grab them real quick.
We're also seeing double Lumios.
You know,
That's
this is just a new
secret.
talent he's been working.
He's multiplying.
Sometimes you just get twice the Lumio and nobody argues with it. Just let it happen.
Yeah, you just let it happen.
Just
I
let it
actually-
happen. And-
Which and this is the high beam, so it's like 2 lipo or 2 Lumios are lit up. So
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if this will actually work. Paste. There we go. Delete a Lumio.
oh, that hurt.
And of course, all of the tokens spawned with some sort of trait.
Fantastic.
Someone's entangled, someone's prone, someone's blind.
I didn't see one on mine, and I was curious to see if like you guys might be able to see that like reflected on your character sheets under buffs, but hey, I didn't want to ask.
No.
So, what would you all like to do? Oh, you said that you are getting out your lantern, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
That'd be both I
Let
and
me.
Delaney and I.
So that's 30 feet of bright light and 60 of dim. Is that what it is?
Correct.
All right. And Delian, you were doing that as well.
Yeah, except since he has his out, I'll wait to light mine till it.
Okay. Then, and you said you're just putting away the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will
Got a free lantern.
delete your vision. So the light that's out is the light that Zeract has.
It's time to scout. Though I am not great at trap finding.
Time
Anybody?
to scout.
Sharut says, looking at other people.
Chat says if you
Volunteers.
see something, slay something.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So, Delian, you're moving ahead.
Yeah, I'll just move ahead and, just keeping like a little bit, not trying to, I'll walk warily, making sure we're not getting wrong. And I'll get like a third of the way into the corridor, and then I'll look back at Sharut and I have no idea where I'm going. I got us in here.
I feel like Sharut would essentially be with you, like almost right behind you, but giving you the space you need, right? And then like try to help guide as best he can.
On top of this, Zeract has basically detect magic whenever she wants, and so every couple seconds, or like at every major intersection, she's just going to pause for 10, 12 seconds and determine if the number of magical auras within her vicinity has changed.
Oh, that's clever.
Okay. So, yeah. And you're looking mostly just forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is a cone, so it'll be
it's
forward.
It's a
Yeah.
What is it, like a 30-foot cone or something?
60-foot cone.
60-foot cone. Okay. For reference, so that we see it here, let me get that real quick so that I know about how big. Okay, that's a 60-foot cone.
Yeah.
Cool. I will now delete. There we go.
So I guess like if it's a visible, like obviously into a room, she'll just check like the 6-second check. Is there magic bullshit here?
Yeah.
If there is, then that warrants a longer pause. And if need be, like she'll work on triangulating stuff. But
Okay.
I want to make that like kind of explicit behavior, so she may be lagging behind, rather than being like, and then she does this, and then she does that,
Okay.
and then she checks that corner too.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, so here's the thing. You have people that have magic items ahead of you.
Uh-huh.
So if you're looking for the yes or no, and you're behind like Dandarin and Delian, like the answer is always going to be yes.
That's fair. She'll work to exclude them from the cone if at all possible.
Okay.
And if not, then she'll take the extra 6 seconds to get the count. She
Okay.
knows how many magic items they should have, or will be able to after the first round. So
you will get the number of magic items that Delian has plus 1. I don't know what that number is. And you will get the number of magic items that Dandarin has, which at the moment I believe is 1.
It's just the hammer.
Just the hammer. So he has the hammer. Delian has the knife, and I believe a belt. Oh,
Because
he has the knife. He has the robe, and
Sharut has cloak and badge, I think, is magical.
yes, cool. So from where you are, if you go, round 1, yes. Round 2, 6.
Okay.
Because if Delian has his shadow active, that counts as an active piece of magic.
yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Okay. So in that case, Delian,
Yes.
you're doing your thing.
I'm doing my thing, moving forward.
Cool. Up ahead of you, you see a door right here-ish. You also see a lamp on the wall.
Okay. It's just one.
It's just one.
So just slowly move into the room,
Okay.
scan for traps, so on
Yeah.
and so forth.
Gotcha. I'll let you know that if this is the entryway into the crypt, they probably didn't trap it.
That would, you know,
Yeah.
how abysmal
Wow.
of them to do so if they did.
If you wish to mourn your family, you must survive long enough to reach their
Yeah.
Yeah,
graves.
exactly.
I
That'd be messed up, man.
I realized the
Pilot
weird
dead
thing.
bodies to the right.
The
Very
weird thing.
sad.
The weird thing here is that you guys can see the effects of the lighting, but you can't actually see the sources of lighting. So
Yeah.
I will draw it on the map where it is. There is a torch about right there on the wall.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool. Well then, I see how goofy it is that I was being so cautious and
Okay.
move forward.
cool. Can you do something for me? Because I want to see if it works.
Yes.
Can you click that
Make a
door?
will save? Please don't.
Can you?
That'd be reflex,
can you-
definitely.
Yeah. Can you click that door? Oh my god, it
Dude, that's
worked.
cool.
Isn't it cool?
That's really cool.
Wait, can we hold on?
Oh, dude, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
There's actually there's a way that you can code it in so that like if the door is locked and you try to open it, it automatically rolls your disabled device.
Oh, that's so cool.
That would
I
that
haven't-
would be if my character sheet was
Yeah. So instead, what it would do is just have you fail and be unable to open the door.
yeah, which sucks.
So ahead of you, you see a very small hallway. There's no lights in it. It's pretty short. It's only about 15-20 feet long. It's about 15 feet wide. Sharut and actually, someone gets this automatically. Sharut, if you would like to make a engineering and architecture check, you can see Dandarin.
Yes.
This has been replaced. This whole thing right here.
Yes.
So that's
Sharut, you know that as well. Dandarin, you just know it without like having to roll. You're like, yep.
Are we doing engineering? I don't care. Delian has too many things on his mind.
Yeah, but it's weird stonework. So the dwarf goes, hey, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
look at
Good
this.
to know.
They've replaced the whole thing. See this here? This wasn't part of the original design. We need to keep our eyes out for more stonework like this. See what the changes are so we can see what lies underneath.
Getting that clip in again, Eric.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't understand why.
All right. Delian, what are you doing?
Obviously moving forward. Either
Sounds good.
I'm just gonna continuously say that the way I'm moving is actively scanning for traps.
Yeah. Well, you have Trap Springer from your hedge.
Oh, that's
Witch.
right.
So, if there's a chance that you would be able to find a trap, I have to roll anyway to see if you do. Like,
Okay.
So whether you're actively scanning or not, you're always actively scanning.
Oh, okay, cool. That makes things a lot easier than me saying it.
So go on and open the door.
Yep.
All right.
That's so fun.
So off to your side over here, you see one light, and then you see a door. It's sort of an L-shaped hallway. The walls are very much straighter than how I have them drawn here. I apologize.
No, it is what it is. I imagine so.
So yeah, it's an L-shaped hallway. To your right, there is it goes up a little bit. There's one lamp on the wall near the door, and to the left, there's no lamps on that door.
Okay. So, which way?
Does either direction feel colder?
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, with your guys' like winter outfits and with the distance from whatever it is that's creating it, this is cold, but it's not like frozen or dangerous yet.
Okay.
Sharut, not sure. Think we just need to search until find proper path.
Is there? Yeah, I guess so. I was trying to justify rolling for knowledge dungeoneering, but I don't think that there would be no reason for that. So
I think no, knowledge dungeoneering is fully applicable here. What you are in is a crypt. You are in a dungeon.
Sharut
Yeah,
can assist with that.
I'm just trying to there's no real way for me to work that in story wise other than me just straight up asking.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. It's like how would Sharut know which way to go?
So what you see in here is if this helps, I probably should have mentioned this. This room right here, you see a door. Sorry, you see a door.
Yeah.
This door is much older stonework than this one. Which this whole wall again has been replaced.
Okay. So either we keep following the older doors hoping that gets us someplace, or there's a reason why walls were rebuilt.
Sharut thinks second idea is better. Section off dangerous parts. No lights on this wall. Odds are danger on other side.
Yeah, that's what I get too. That's what the lady said too. She also said don't take risks, and here we are. So
Feel
I would like to roll. Knowing that, do I need to do roll dungeoneering, or did you just give me the info?
You can go ahead and roll it.
I think, honestly, I think it's dumb trying to fish for it like that. So role playing it like this seems better.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
All right. So we'll go in this one.
all right, and you open that one. Man, that is a little brighter than.
They have well lit caves.
So you see, I might have to tone. I might have to tone these down just a bit.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidgen.
Yeah, it's a lot. There we go. So Delian, you see a hallway that stretches out in front of you at a slight curve. To your left, you see a doorway with two lights in front of it. Far ahead of you, down this hallway, you can there's an area that you can't really see because there's nothing in the middle there. And then past that, you see another light.
Okay.
What's the stonework look like in these relative areas?
The stonework here is very, very old. Everything here is very, very old.
Oh,
And there's
good.
no light in this direction.
In this direction, no. There's just an opening. This right here in this area, if you guys can see me clicking this thing, this is apparently some sort of natural growth. Like it's a straight piece of natural rock that has been partially smoothed, going from the floor to the ceiling.
Okay.
And then there's just like a hallway into whatever this.
At this point, I'm gonna pull out my lantern and just get that going.
Okay. I will give you a lantern. It is 30 bright, 60 dim. I'm gonna make your light white and make it not especially potent. Otherwise, all of these light sources will stack.
Yeah. Make it very vibrant.
Yeah. I'll show you an example of a 1 point. Right now, you're at a 0.2. Here's a 1.0.
That's
Fuck.
ridiculous.
So
Ah!
you wanted sight, then see everything.
God, I see the horizon of my mind.
and it's additive too. So like you have to be careful with how many light sources you put in a place because it can be blinding. So yes, you pull out your lantern, you light it, you're holding it out.
Okay, cool.
And
I give the small lantern to Sharut just in case.
cool.
I'm gonna go check out this area right here because I can't see where it goes.
Okay.
Wait, which way is he headed?
He's heading down the hallway a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just.
So yeah, Delian, the area that you're in is more worked stone than actual, like artificial walls. So
Okay.
a lot of these is either natural stone that has been smoothed, or at some points it's even stone that has been carved. As you and Sharut are walking up, can you both please give me a perception check?
Yes, I can do that.
Cool. And while you guys are doing that, Lumio and Zeract and Dandarin, are you guys doing anything?
Lumia's going. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Zeract is going to go and pop open his door.
Okay. 1 second here. Zeract, you go and you pop open that door, and what you see are a number of sarcophagi, that have just been sit in front of these walls. There looks to be 4 standing and 8 horizontal sarcophagi.
Gotcha.
Basically just essentially lining the walls. The standing ones are pretty much put in the corners. There is also in the middle a small little shrine to Orion.
Okay. Yep. Not what we're looking for. Back
Do I see any additional, like, new stonework or anything that looks like those walls we passed earlier, just out of place?
This looks to be new, but otherwise, from what you're seeing, no. This looks like smooth stonework in the sort of Dakani fashion. But can you give me a perception check as you walk to where you are? And Lumio, as you go to where you are, you can give me one as well. For you, it'll be at a -1 from where you are.
Is this for unusual stonework by any chance?
No, it's not for unusual stonework.
Nice. 18
Okay.
for mine.
So all of you, Sharut, Lumio, Dandarin, all of you have noticed this room right here, which is fairly open. Like, there's just this natural stalagmite meets stalactite formation holding it up. It's just a natural pillar. But on the other side, there are a pair of sarcophagi right here and right here.
Oh, okay.
They're just hard to see as you walk by because they're on the other side of that little wall, and none of you went into the alcove. So, so as Delian and Sharut head farther down, Lumio and Dandarin, are the two of you doing anything else?
I don't see a reason to go in there and look at those sarcophagi. We're looking for things that are much deeper.
Okay. Who opened the door?
I opened the door.
Okay.
It's got 2 lights, right? That's safe?
Yep.
Yeah.
What is
So, as you gaze down the hallway, you see stairs going up from there. There's no light that you can see down this hallway. It continues on a flat plane, and then there's some stairs going up, and there's a small landing, and then there's some more stairs going up, and a small landing.
Right, I'm going to take a quick trek down a little bit.
Okay.
And I see this other door.
Yeah, and then ahead of you at the end of the second landing, you see a small door. Overall, it looks like that from the top landing to where you started at the edge of the door, it's about 20 feet. This room is remarkably clean, much more so than you have experienced out here. This whole area is like probably not just swept, but maybe even scrubbed and mopped.
Ooh.
Which is, for a cavern floor, weird.
How fancy. I imagine there's something of value here. Not that that's necessarily what we came for, but I am going to test the door and see if there's
Cool.
just a series of crypts.
Yeah, what you see is it's the shape of the room is a little weird. It's kind of long and rectangular, and there's these little tiny alcoves. And in each of the alcoves, you see a standing sarcophagus. And then up against the walls over here, you see other sarcophagi that are horizontal, that are resting on the floor with a body horizontal instead of vertical. This whole room, compared to what you've seen out there, looks to be ornate. There are shrines in here to each of the sovereign host. There are also a couple of braziers in the room that are currently not lit, but the room is very clean.
All right.
And can you give me an architecture and engineering check?
Sure.
This is a stable. That's not what it's being used for, but that's what it was.
Oh, wow.
You are looking at this, and each of these is a place to keep a mount. Each of those little alcoves.
Their honored dead.
Yeah, you can tell that like the people above have probably no idea what this is. They see it as like, it's a nice, secure, well carved stone room. But this is a place to keep some sort of mount. Given the hobgoblins and the sort of mounts that they would like, you would assume it would be probably like large monitor lizards or large geckos, something that would be equally good in an above ground battle and a below ground battle.
That's kind of funny. I'll do a quick once over to see if I can notice any kind of, maybe there was like a servant's entrance or something that they might have overlooked when they were, changing the place up from stable to, luxurious mausoleum.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a perception check, and count your unusual stonework here. You notice a couple of carvings, in the wall, that are right here. And you only really notice them after you kind of like, there's these tabards on the walls, right? And, are not tabards, flags, big tapestries of the symbols of the various gods of the host. And as you're running a hand over one of them, like, because I'm sure Dandarin, like most smiths, probably counts Onatar as his like sovereign. Mm-hmm. And you're like running a hand over Onatar's tapestry, and you feel some like weird bumps behind it. And when you move it, you see basically an etched placard in like old Dakani, which the goblin language hasn't evolved much. If anything, it's just become like more guttural, less precise than it was really. But you are able to see essentially where you are. And I don't mean like a map. It says where you are. It says Spearhold, realm of Prednuz Kaldurgs. And it says enter as ally, servant, or prey. And you see crossed out is ally, and then crossed out is servant. Like somebody has defaced this, and then it just says Spearhold, realm of Prednuz Kaldurgs, enter as prey.
Shrewd might want to see this. I'll go and oh no, there's a wall in my way.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
I dig a hole. No, Shrewd, there's some interesting stonework you might be interested in. Mentions a few names. Come.
Shrewd follows.
Okay. Yeah, and you're able to go down and see. You're able to make out what Dandarin made out very quickly, because you probably have a room like this in Ketch Valar somewhere. It is a place where you keep your horses, or not your horses, but like your riding lizards. And you're looking around and like, this is a stable, and it looks like they are keeping some very honored dead here.
Why keep bodies in stable?
He's asking Dandarin.
Oh no, it's a stable, but here, and he'll move the tapestry aside to show like I don't know if this is the name of whose realm this is, but as soon as Shrewd starts looking, I close the door. No one will know.
+1 to hit goblins.
Gobble.
He's fat on pastries. Now's the time to strike.
I know it was you that killed Grunnick. No, just...
Yeah, he'll he'll run his hand over the markings and read the Dakani. He'll look at the scratch marks, and I'm assuming the first thought that pops into his head, besides of course the name of the hold, which was what was the name of the hold again?
This is called Spearhold. That's what it would translate to.
Okay.
I don't have the old Dakani for it because
Perfectly fine.
I haven't reached quite that level of Eberron fluency.
I will look it up later. Don't worry about it.
Please do.
But so he'll look at the name of the hold, and then his like fingers will glide across the etched out words, and he'll say out loud, probably in Goblin, and mostly to himself, but I'm assuming anybody nearby would hear.
So they too fell into madness.
Perhaps it was nearly their time, just like it's yours. No.
And yeah, like he'll do a once over of the room to see if there's anything noteworthy, but that's pretty much what he takes away, is that the magic failed. Like, of course the magic failed, but this was essentially a much slower decline, and it was probably a lot heavier on the citizens, at least from what he can gather. Like, this is just me trying to piece it together, but that's what he's trying to gather, I suppose.
Yeah, like, I mean, mainly what you're getting is like someone defaced this, and from the age on the scratches and the, you know, like if you chip it stone, you can tell if that chip is new, and as time happens, like, it gets a little bit more smooth, and that's these are very smooth defacings. Honestly, the carvings themselves are barely there. Like, if Dandarin didn't have dwarven abilities, he probably never would have noticed this behind a tapestry. But yeah, you're able to put together that, yeah, this place fell, and it probably wasn't that great for the people there.
No, it was probably because of the slower decline. It was probably worse.
Maybe, yeah. A lot of other places fell in the span of like a generation. This place lasted for a while.
Yeah, so sad, so sad.
Cool.
He'll kind of say that to himself, and then he'll look back to Dandarin and say,
Nothing of note in this room, merely stable and entrance.
and head back out
Okay.
to continue scouting with Dillian.
Cool. So Delian, if you want to, now's your chance. Zoract is in that room all alone. All you gotta do is lock the door.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, yeah.
What about the bodyguards?
I mean, who cares about the bodyguard?
I do.
Wow. Has there been any change in my pokings?
From like detecting magic in that room?
Yeah, and just kind of along the way.
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
You're detecting. Now, granted, it doesn't really go like through stone, so it's not that you can stand outside a sarcophagus and detect if there's anything magical inside. But when you stand there and look around, you do detect a couple sources of magic. If you concentrate on it for a bit, for the 3 rounds that it takes, you realize that it's both of the braziers.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And actually, I can. It penetrates a foot of stone.
Does it penetrate a foot of stone?
It penetrates a foot of stone.
Okay, so instead of there being 2 magical auras, you detect more like 10.
Whoa.
Okay. Yep. Zoract is fine with that, and
is
is just gonna leave.
Okay.
We're not here to loot bodies.
We're not here to loot these bodies.
Right. These are bodies of people
Yeah.
who do things. Like, no reason to do that.
So, Delian, while everybody else is investigating some sort of room to the south, including the person who was with you, who went, I have to go look at this interesting stonework, you wanted to check out this hallway. Ahead of you, you see some steps going down, and it opens up into what looks to be a very large cavern.
So I'll just go to the top here. Yeah, it sure does.
It sure does. Farther ahead, I believe you can make out the source of... 1 second here. 1, 2, 3 different lights.
Holy bejesus.
Actually, you can only make out one of the actual lights, but you can make out that, it's giving off enough light that there's more than one up there.
Yeah, I know there's more than one up there.
Yeah, so what it looks like is you're on a plane that's up about 15 or so feet, and there's some stairs going down into this huge cavern that looks to be like leveled off. It's natural stonework, which you can tell from the walls, but someone has gone through here and like done their best to level off this this cavern's floor as best they could. And then what you're seeing on the other side is some stairs that go back up to about your level.
Okay.
And there's some light beyond there. Once you get to where you are, now it feels a little bit cold.
Okay. Well, at least I know we're heading the right way. I'm gonna wait for everybody to catch up because I'm not trying to be like.
I don't want to fight all the
zooming
ice
ahead.
elementals on my own, guys. I'm not seeking the glory here.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's all for you. You've
Wait.
got this.
I thought you were a fighter.
No.
You got the
What made you?
touch.
What made you think that? The most aggressive thing I've done is poke an ogre in the eye with a hook.
You've tripped like three ogres.
Is that the most aggressive thing you've done? Is that it? There's nothing maybe more aggressive, kind of in the larger scheme of things.
Man, you're hearing it must have echoes. Jeez.
All right. So,
From equally far away.
so
Yeah,
you,
I'd want to piss him off in the darkness where he clearly has the advantage too.
Zorak has the advantage in the darkness. It's fine.
Zorak has the advantage if there's a little bit of light.
She's got a little bit of light. Great.
Yeah, but he
I
has a
can
little bit of
extinguish that
darkness.
Anyways,
so-
let's start moving on.
Cool. So yeah, you wait for them. Eventually, Sharut and Dandarin come out, and then a couple minutes later, Zorak comes out with the two bodyguards. And
Hearing some typing from you, Eric.
Oh god, now I've got the clicky clacks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using a more sensitive microphone, so
uh,
Well,
Well,
swap
the pops are gone, so that's
Yeah, there you go.
Telling me one thing is something. It's the headset you were using.
yeah,
Lumio.
it had some fraying up the top.
Lumio, are you doing anything of note, or just hanging out with people?
I'm worried about the entire situation we are in. I haven't done much underground exploring as Lumio, or ever. Speaking. So what I would have him do is probably start fiddling with one of his totems.
Okay.
He doesn't have anything that can help in this situation except very specifically the combat related stuff, right? And so what he's trying to do is somehow figure out how to wild magic a torch or maybe a holy energy beacon or something. But it's fast and loose and probably not the best place to just try something.
Are you able to affect like other things? Like we know the torch is magical. Are you able to affect that, or is it just something?
So in real game mechanics, I believe there are other things that I can take in the sphere of wild magic to get the ability to do the things I want to happen. But I don't have those items or abilities.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of spitballing in the dark because
Yeah.
I have nothing better to actually do.
Yeah, he's essentially at the moment trying to channel chaos and get it to do what he wants it to, and it's probably mostly resulting in him making a little lightning.
Yeah.
So, Delian, as you're heading down, can you give me a perception check, please?
Sure, bud. Right. Yep.
Okay. Over here, you notice a small dark bucket. It's sitting on the second step.
Okay.
And you see that as you're like about to go down.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna stop going down.
Okay.
Because that's an odd place for a dark bucket on the stairs. I don't want to trip, so I'm gonna go investigate said dark bucket.
Okay.
The dark.
It looks like a bucket that's about a quarter full of salt.
Okay. Is there anything attached to it or
No.
anything at all?
No, it's just about a quarter full of. It looks like basically just large salt kernels, crystals.
Interesting. I guess I'll motion for the group to come over here. Like, maybe I'm just being crazy here, but this is unsafe and now there's a bucket. I feel like I'm getting crazy here. It's a bucket full of salt, but I just need somebody else to tell me it's just a bucket full of salt.
Please just tell me it's a bucket full of salt. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Well, let's take again to see if you've gone insane. I inspect the bucket.
Dandarin, it appears to be a bucket of salt. I don't think anyone else would actually know to do this, but as someone from the Roar holds, which are built in big frozen mountains, this melts ice.
Yes, it's true. Ah, yes. Well, it's a bit. Well, I wouldn't even think it's cold yet, would I?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Like you could tell,
But
you
is
can
there-
you can tell that
Context clues. Do they look cold?
nobody else really looks cold. You can tell, like, same thing that I told Dillian. You can tell that it's colder over here than it is back at the steps where you were. You can also tell that you're at the top of a set of stairs.
Yeah. Oh, there's salts for the stairs in case they get icy.
Okay.
Salt melts ice and prevents icing.
Oh, well, maybe we should take that with us and maybe salt these stairs right here.
Okay.
Sure. And Dandrin will apply salt, as he has probably been forced to do as a chore as a child.
Yeah. You apply some salt in, a probably overly thick place on one side that everybody can use both as like sand grip and also so that it'll melt the ice a little bit. Way to go, Dandrin. You have prevented everybody from having to make an acrobatics check, as they may have just flopped down the steps.
Wait, I take it back. That's funnier.
I sweep up the salt before they walk down the stairs.
I drop a bunch of the salt, I go down, I bring all the salt back. Haha, fuck you.
Or alternatively, I let everyone else go first, and then I just apply the salt casually behind them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, you guys can descend with no issues, no risks.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and as you start moving forward, again, you are seeing a very large cavern. The ceiling in here is at least 40 feet above you. You guys descended at least 200 feet. So even 40 feet above you, you are nowhere near the surface. To your south, you see over here, you see a door with two lamps on either side. And over here, you see a door with another two lamps on its side. Then you see a natural wall right here. You see a door right here that has no lamps in front of it.
No way.
And I believe that's about it that you can see from where you are. Actually, further up to the north, you see for as dark as this cavern is, blindingly bright. It's hard to tell if it's a number of lamps or if it's just
like a narrow corridor that causes the light to bounce.
Yeah. Like it's not necessarily that you're seeing like, oh, there's 6 torches up there. It's just that there's something up there that's very, very bright. And you're also, you can faintly in the glow make out some like chairs, like stone chairs on the ground.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's what you see from where you are. There's steps over this way, there's the chairs up this way, and then there was down
Unsafe door right there.
Unsafe door there, and then 2 safe doors here and here.
Okay. So which way you want to go? There's a light over here with no torches whatsoever. We could go up some stairs, and I see a bit of architecture up to our north. If that's maybe this is north. Anyways, up that way.
I mean, I should be able to see what he's seeing, right? Just dark vision.
I mean, you can see what you see if you click your character. So
Okay.
So yes.
So I can see like up here.
Yeah, like you can actually make out stuff outside of the glow of the lights. He can't. So you can see the lights, and then you can see the places that are in the middle of the lights too.
Okay. I'm just so curious as to what's behind this door, but does that look like it's part of the rock?
What do you mean?
Like, is it an older structure?
Definitely looks like it.
Okay. And it got colder as we entered, like, down.
Yeah,
into these
even
stairs,
though
right?
even though that set of stairs only goes down about 15-20 feet, it is markedly colder where you are.
Okay. All right.
Sharut, no, may be adverse to this, but curious what behind that door.
And he like points to it.
All right. Well, I'll check it for traps. But then, since you're the curious one here, why don't you open it?
So long, no trap.
Yeah, I'll make sure there's no traps. That's about it.
I'll go over there and check for traps.
Give me your perception check. As far as you can tell, it does not appear to be trapped.
All right, you're good.
All right.
I'll be back here, right behind you.
He's
Okay.
gonna motion everybody else over before even attempting to open this door.
Okay. So while you're doing that, and you're motioning everybody else over, everybody else, what are you doing?
I'll proceed that direction.
Okay.
I believe Eric is away, so I'm assuming he would also proceed.
Yeah,
Zeract is going to complete a circuit kind of to the north a bit and then over before coming down. Just taking a couple seconds to stop and scan and stop and scan.
Yeah, what you can see is again above you to the north, there looks to be a number of chairs in the stone, as well as something that is very reflective of the light in the area. Up here on the steps are a number of there's 2 doors up here. One of them has 1 torch next to it, and the other one has 2 torches next to it. They both look to be the older construction.
Okay. Cool. We'll check on that thing to the north here in a bit.
All right.
All right. So once everybody gets closer, much closer, he continues to wave them closer. Still, like
Everybody just stays where they are.
Yeah, this is fine.
Come
In
on.
fact, there. This is fine.
I mean, for Zeract, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dandarin, though, what the hell is he doing over there?
Yeah, I mean, what's Zeract doing?
You got told where the
Someone
safe
has-
route was. Why aren't you going on the safe route?
Okay.
Danger
Shrewd
leads to wealth.
Shrewd will stand to the side of the door, and then, or he'll set the lantern that he's holding down,
Okay.
pick up his crossbows, and then he'll stand to the side of the door and open it.
Okay. So from where you are, you see a pitch black hallway, except for basically the light that is caused by Delian's lantern. So the only reason you have light is because he's standing behind you. To the right, you see another door. To the left, or sorry, not to the left, ahead of you, and then to the right, the hallway turns, and as you open the door, and it makes this loud, like, as the stone slides on the stone, down the hallway, you hear this, like,
Oh no.
Shrewd will close the door. Should think big thing on other side.
Yeah, that's probably why there's no candles.
Edrin pulls out his warhammer and his shield and is like, "All right, I'm ready."
Oh, okay.
Shrewd opens the door again.
I mean,
And,
it's
like,
it's the same thing that, like, it seems to be like the sound is what's causing it. Because as soon as the door shuts and it's like, you can kind of hear through the door. You can like put an ear to it and you don't hear it anymore. But as soon as the door opens, you hear it.
Charut is gonna motion Dillian up as well, kind of like right there.
Yeah. I bet you do.
So we can
Yeah,
have.
Sure.
Well, this way we can have some light, and also you're our trap finder.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Go find those traps. Go find that trap. It's loud. It's up in front.
Yeah, there's a trap. I found it. It's making loud noises.
I choose life.
You go ahead, curious one. I'll be here, writing your epitaph.
No.
You
When
could
Star
not write.
Alaska, it was the Star Alaskans do. We're in a crypt. Be dead.
Oh, well, sure. Here's a lantern. Go ahead, bud.
Well, he's already got your other lantern, but he'll
No, I'm
pocket
just
it.
kidding. You're pocketing my lantern? Give it.
That's right. It goes
You're not
into the
gonna use
backpack.
All right. As long as the Dandrin stays, I think I'm relatively safe.
He'll let Dandrin lead the way. Like he'll tap him on the shoulder to let them know that he's got his back, pretty much.
You joining us on this thing here,
Before-
Romeo?
Before opening the door,
Yes.
does the loud noise seem to be coming from this or this?
So it seems to be, once you go in a little bit farther, there is the hallway turns to your right. This hallway, the whole thing, is not kept in the same level of repair as everything else that you've been through. It seems like, no one's really come in here to like sweep up, that sort of thing. You are hearing this coming both from here, but then much louder from here.
We've got two options. We can either deal with what's here first and then move on. We can ignore this, go directly here. There is a non-zero chance that this way, given that no one's really been here, may be guarding an entrance into a deeper level.
It's not wise
But
to leave
there's no
something behind
guarantee.
you.
Well then, everyone
Well-
get in position.
While he checks that door, Sharut is going to stay right here and keep an eye on this door. Just because the noise started when we opened this door, which is odd.
Okay.
But yeah, like that's where he's going to be. And I suppose before Dandrin attempts to open that one, he'll kind of like nudge Dillian and say, "Check door, trap."
I mean, like I'll be honest with you. I have a pretty good sense for these things, and I'm not saying it's trap, but okay, it's just so you feel better about yourself.
Step back.
So you feel better about yourself.
Look, I'm telling you, I've never gotten this wrong before, and we should go. Dillian, this door is definitely not trapped. It definitely is locked.
Okay.
And it looks like it is not just locked, but someone has tried to, at the base of the door, essentially wedge it shut.
Wedges. I told you guys.
I told you, they're the most useful tool in any adventuring kit. Well, like I said, sure, it's not trapped, but what it is locked. And on top of that, the best tool in the biz, the adventuring biz being that biz, there's wedges at the bottom.
It's locked by the best tool in the bit.
Cheaply made, but made to resist battalions.
Why bar the door when you can wedge it?
So, I mean, it's locked. I can unlock it. I don't know about the wedge. I know how to undo wedges. It'll just take time.
Sharut think since door is secure, we check this one instead.
Okay. Dandrin, hey, good old buddy. You mind just stepping in front of me for the remainder of this adventure?
Sure.
Thank you.
Get behind me.
Yep, I'm going now.
He'll just look back to Zeract and give a knowing nod.
Zorak closes the door.
She has no wedge.
So you think?
Oh,
Before the
Zeract.
session, I gave her all of my wedges.
Zeract, you silly wedgeless noob.
In the meantime, like whilst Delian was sleeping and his bed just overflowing with wedges, she's like, "Yeah, I'll take one."
What gonna hurt?
Yeah, better be prepared.
Test my luck. I'm done by my own creation.
Anywho.
All right.
So guys, let's pretend like we're arguing. And
So, Dillian, you will go up to the next door.
I guess.
All right. Yeah,
confidence.
you give a cursory glance to this one too, and this one also doesn't seem to be locked. Or sorry, it doesn't seem to be trapped. It does seem to be locked. It is similarly wedged, and you're still getting that from behind it.
I found the trap, guys. It's behind the door.
And it's more insistent than the one behind the other door.
Excuse me, I'd like to tell you about Amway products.
We gotta get out of here very fast. Very fast. So, again, not trapped, wedged and locked, so
Sharut believe
there you go.
your choice. Which would you rather unlock?
Neither.
Not option.
Well, that's not very fair.
I think our chances are much better for finding something important behind this door. That being said,
I mean,
Dandrin already in action to just belt anything behind the door.
if I open the
Whenever you're
door,
ready.
am I going to be behind the door? Are you going to belt me? We drop an empire, something like that.
That's not.
The creature
I don't think
pulls
that's how
you
it works.
into the door, and it triggers an attack of opportunity.
Dandrin readies an action to attack the first gnome he sees when the first gnome he sees opens this door.
That's
Wait, what?
That's. Hey, hold up. Who said that?
Wait, what?
All right, I've targeted.
So I'll try to unlock the door.
Okay, go ahead and give me a
And,
disable device check.
I'm assuming I can take care of the wedge too.
Yeah, you can take care of wedge too.
That's the assumption.
So, it's slow going. because these aren't like
Conventional.
these aren't conventional. Like you're pulling out the wedges, and that's kind of the easy part. And now the door shakes a little bit more, and it looks like whatever's hitting on this is kind of screwing with the locking mechanisms.
Yeah.
And it takes some time, and eventually the door will slam open. What you see is a quartet of creatures. They
Look angry.
they are hunched over. They have exaggerated long limbs that end in this rotting flesh. They have wounds over a lot of their body, huge misshapen teeth. They don't have any hair on their body, but they also don't seem to have much in the way of skin. Like they're in a state of sort of a perpetual rot. And one of them sees you. Well, more to the point, he sees Dandrin because it looks like you open the door and then jump to the side so that
Yeah,
Dandrin,
that was the whole plan.
was
There was no
in
way
the
I
way
wanted
of the
to do
door.
this.
No, like this is the opening, so that's hilarious. And he sees Dandrin, raises his hands, and comes forward in this massive overhand, like double axe handle blow, and we'll pick up
And
with
I
that next
hit him
week.
in the face with a hammer.
You do nothing.
That-
We will play this
Because I
next week.
readied an action.
You do nothing. What do you think you are, Ringer? You do nothing. Ready in action. Nonsense. All right. So
I spend a point of tension.
I spent a point of tension. All right. You're really tense. Yeah.
Guys, I gained a point of tension. I don't like this.
Okay.
That's not a mechanic I have.
So we'll pick this up next week. And thanks to everybody for watching. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.